All right, guys, we are live. Beat the Line broadcast, episode 47. I'm your host, Pegasus Picks. We're here with JB, JewishBettor, Dravy, Key 3 Picks. We got a mixed match or a mashed bag of fights ahead of us. I don't think this is the best pay-per-view slate we got. What do you guys think of it?
I think we're gonna make some money, bro. At the end of the day, that's like the most important thing. I think there's some fun fights, to be honest. Like a lot of these fighters, we all know these fighters pretty well. But yeah, it's not the greatest pay-per-view of all time. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I think it's still gonna be fun.
All right.
I think it's a sleeper card, bro. I think this one's gonna be a lot more exciting than some people think. Obviously, you want a pay-per-view. You don't really want a WMMA fight as the co-main event, but we'll see. Juliana Pena brings it. She's been away for a while now, so
He has something to say about it.
WMMA disrespect already? What the fuck?
All right, let's get into this, bro. All right, first fight of the night we got is the Dirty Bird Tim Means versus Court the Crusher Mcgee. Tim Means 33, 16-1. Court Mcgee 21-13. Tim Means, he's 40 years old. He's 6'2", 75-inch reach. Court Mcgee, 30. He's basically 42 as well. He's 5'11" with a 75-inch reach. Court Mcgee, this is a hometown fight for him. He fights out of a town just outside of Salt Lake City. So fun fact, training at Elevation. Believe Tim Means, I thought he was a Philadelphia guy. I don't know where this camp is that he's got here, but it's actually New Mexico. So he's out of New Mexico. So he's at sea level. Odds for these two gentlemen. Tim Means is anywhere from -190 to -200. Court Mcgee is anywhere from +165 to +175. Lines are coming in on Court Mcgee. All right, Jewish, you're our guest. We're going to let you go first. I mean, which old man wins here? Is this too disgusting to touch?
Yeah, they're both old men. One old man coming off a knockout loss in Tim Means. Sure, Court Mcgee did get put away 2 times, but he did come back in that next fight against Alex Morono and showed that he went all 15 minutes. He's still got good cardio. Like you said, he trains at the Elevation. He's the hometown guy, so I gear it to be that they just tried to find a guy that he could possibly get a win against. I think Tim Means and Alex Morono are similar level. I took Court Mcgee last time out at like +200 something, so I got to take the stab again at this price. I took it at 170. I wish I got it a little bit earlier, but I think it'll probably get even closer. You could see some parlay money on Tim Means, but I think Court Mcgee could wrestle here. I think he could take Tim Means down. We saw Max Griffin take Tim Means down. I think Court Mcgee is a little bit more physical, and I think once he puts Tim Means to the mat, I think he's going to be head under the chin. He sticks to you like glue. He'll get off ground and pound, but then he's going to get right back to controlling position. It doesn't matter if he's even just in the guard. He'll Tito Ortiz it, or even just try to pass the half guard and hold there. He's not trying to look to take your back or anything. And I don't think Tim Means does the right things to really get back to the feet. So I got to take Court Mcgee here at this price. Unless Tim Means knocks him out in the first round, I think this is a lot closer to a 50-50. And I think Court Mcgee showed in his last fight he's not going to get knocked out every single time. Matt Brown caught him with a good shot. Jeremiah Wells, he's a truck. I think if he hit Tim Means would get put out as well. So both guys spotty record, but I think Court Mcgee's set up to get a win here at this
I
price.
agree. You know, I like Court Mcgee too. I think there's a few fights in this card that you could do it with. Both these guys fought Alex Moreno, right? Alex Moreno, when he fought Tim Means, beat him up and subbed him. When Court Mcgee fought Alex Moreno, sure, first punch rocked him pretty good and had him on Bambi legs. But after that, he recovered and at least made it relatively close. So sure, he won a UD, but Moreno did, but he at least made it the distance and made it a fight. Tim Means didn't even make it a fight. So if we're using Moreno as a measuring stick, kind of gives you hope on Court Mcgee. I'm not sure if you guys saw a photo that was up on his Instagram. I'll pull it up when one of these guys is giving their breakdowns, but Court looks like he's on all the juice right now. He's looking pretty good. And like I said, he's training at Elevation, and this is a hometown fight for him. I mean, he wins here at home. I'm not going to put him into retirement, but hey, wouldn't be a bad idea to retire with a win in your home country, you know, or your home state. So that's my thoughts on it. Key, what are you thinking?
Yeah. You know, I'm old enough to remember whenever people were saying that Means was gonna melt my boy Medic, and then Medic put an end to that shit. And that was an interesting fight, to be honest, because Medic looked way more tired than he usually did after a couple minutes. But it'll be interesting to see how Tim Means comes off of that knockout loss. But we do have to remember that, I mean, if we're talking about recency, Tim Means put up, I mean, a great performance. I know it's Andre Fialho, but he put up a great performance in that fight. His work in the clinch, the elbows, the knees, the body work. I mean, it was just nasty performance and an old school Dirty Bird performance. So here it's tough for me to say that he doesn't get the win here, just because I think that he has shown the most life recently out of these two guys. But that does not mean that I'm looking to play Tim Means at minus 200, minus 170 up. I'm not looking to play him money line wise, but I think and what Drive is probably going to touch on, there is a prop. I think that the KO props could look decent here. If you do believe that Mcgee is just completely washed and his chin is gone, then I think that that's the way to play this fight. Tim Means is a slow starter, so it'll be interesting to see how he builds into this fight. Yeah, Court looks insane there.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, but I don't think that Court at this stage of his career can wrestle consistently anymore. And we've seen that. And so it'll be interesting. I think there'll be a lot of clinch work, a lot of dirty boxing. So I think this is low-key going to be a banger. I mean, it's nasty work to put on a pay-per-view as the opener, but it's going to be a banger. I think that these guys are going to fight it out. And cardio-wise, I think that both will look fine here. So Tim Means by KO is the only way, in my opinion, to play it on books. So yeah, but it's a pass fight for me as of right now.
What's up, Dan? Thanks for joining us. Smash the like, boys. Drav, what do you got for us? So we'll move on to our next one.
Yeah, so I don't disagree on the money line side. I do think that I wouldn't lay minus 200 on Tim Means for sure. Especially if the fight go the distance, he has a pretty good chance of winning it. Feel like it's going to be like a 29-28 type decision if it goes all 15 minutes. And I think he could have some wrestling success. But there's a big issue that I've noticed with Court Mcgee, right? I think the chin is gone. I'll be honest, guys. Like, yeah, he got knocked out. You can say it was against Wells and against Matt Brown, right? Both guys did pretty hard. But back-to-back knockout loss at 40 years old. And then he fought Morono. The fight go the distance. But like you said, I mean, he almost got put down with the first shot that he got hit with. It showed me two things. It showed me that when he's in the fight, he's still good because he got hit with some big shot after that. But first of all, Morono is not a power puncher by any means. And the fact that he got like almost dropped and hit bad like that early, it just showed me that early he could get put down. And so I think the Crusher is gonna get crushed here. To be honest, I really think Mean's gonna knock him out early. I mean, at the end of the day, you have they're both like 40 years old, but I think Means has more left in the tank. Key touch on the Fialho fight. I think it was a very good performance for sure. The knees and elbows in the clinch, like you said, it was beautiful. And he got hurt in that fight, but he showed me that even if he gets hurt, you can still come back and win the fight. Yes, against Medic, he got put down with an uppercut. But like you said, I mean, Medic was kind of slowing down, and I feel like if the fight doesn't end the first round, he's probably winning that fight. I mean, just being honest, Medic on the mic after that, he was tired as shit. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he was sick or something.
I think he was sick, to be honest, because there's a guy that went 3 rounds at altitude. It was really weird.
Yeah. I mean, on the mic, he was like, I don't know. He was probably sick or something because me and you both text on it like in the fight. We're like, what? He's already tired? What's going on? But then he found a beautiful uppercut. So props to him on that. Props to you. But yeah, in this fight, the way I see it is you have a guy in Court Mcgee who has the 3 times he's been finished, all of the time he's been finished is first round knockout, right? And you have a guy in Tim Means. I mean, he has 20 KO and 13 of them are in the first round. It's been a long time since he didn't get a KO early, but it's not like he's not hurting these guys early. Peg did a little bit of MMA match with the Morono fight, but I mean, let's not forget, Tim Means won the first round against Morono. He hurt Morono at the end of round 1, and he was looking good and winning the second round, but then he got caught in a guillotine, you know. Court McGee got caught in the same guillotine in round 2, but he was able to escape because his BJJ is better, and he's never been submitted. But he got cracked early in round 1, and Think Means cracked, like he hit harder than Morono. And we've seen Morono lately. I mean, the guy looked kind of washed to me, so I don't know how much I can put into that. But like I said, obviously, if the fight goes all 15 minutes, it's going to be close. But I don't think it does. I think Means going to be able to touch the chin early. And, yeah, I think he's going to put him out, you know. So Means KO, you can get like plus 3xx on that. I got plus 375. And I played a little something on the KO1 at plus 900. I just think the price were way off. If he gets a knockout, I think more often than not, it's early. Even though I know he has some late KOs and stuff like that, I really don't see a sub from Mings here. I don't think he's going to submit him. And I don't really think Court McGee has much KO upside. So I think he could submit him late, potentially. But I think the more likely finish outcome is Tim Means KO1. And they gave me plus 900, plus 375 on the KO. So, yeah, man, I'm gonna play Tim Means to knock this guy out, and the Crusher's gonna get crushed to open up the pay-per-view. That's how I see it playing out.
You're muted, bro.
Yep, my bad. You actually just told me that too on the screen. What is the fight to win by KO? Like either guy wins by KO. What's the odds on that? Is that plus odds?
Yeah, for sure. The under 2.5 is plus 160. So fight end by KO is it's plus 225.
I mean, that's not a bad look either, honestly, the under, if you don't feel like picking a side here. But let's move on to our next fight. It looks like, so Tapology is telling me the next fight's OSP versus Spann. Is that true, or is it Esparza versus Tisha Pennington?
I believe it's Pennington, but I'm not sure. It doesn't matter.
We're going to go off Tapology orders. That's fine. Let's see. Yeah. Share this tab instead. All right, we got Oven St. Preux, OSP versus Ryan Superman Spann. OSP is 27-17. He's 41, 6'3" with an 80-inch reach. We got Ryan Spann, 33, 6'5" with a 79-inch reach. Spann is out of Fortis MMA. OSP is fighting out of his hometown in Tennessee. Odds in these two gentlemen. Ryan Spann, minus 235 to minus 270. OSP, plus 200 to plus 225, anywhere in that range. Looking at these two guys, I'll go first. We broke this down, 2 weeks ago for Burns versus Brady. I'm sticking with the dog here. I'm going with OSP. I just put it in right now for 1 unit right there. We're in plus 210. I think OSP, if he doesn't don't get me wrong, Ryan Spann can knock anyone out. He comes out here and knocks him out. Surprise, surprise. But this fight gets extended by any means. OSP is going to be the guy you want to be on that side of. His cardio looked good in his last fight when he beat Kennedy Nchukwu. Volume was okay there. Looking at, Ryan Spann's last fight, I mean, Bogdan Guskov, evidently he's got this aura where he's knocking people out. I would have thought Spann won that fight. I was wrong. But if we're talking about Ryan Spann, he gets a lot of submissions, right? I don't see him getting OSP down. OSP has been taken down since 2020. He's a big dude. He's got square hips. He's built like a football player. I don't think the classic blast double of Ryan Spann is going to get him down, especially if he's up against the fence. Ryan Spann jumps to guillotines. Guess what? You jump to a guillotine and it's a guy with OSP. Guess what? You're going to get stuck in an OSP choke. He'll reverse that choke and it's going to turn into an OSP choke. So I think he's got the sub upside there. If we're going the distance, I give him the volume and the striking with his jab at distance. Like, I think this is a completely winnable fight by OSP. Plus 210, it's worth the dog shot. Throw a unit on it, see what happens. Key, what do you think?
Yeah, I do think that Spann put something together here, but I'm not laying minus money, period, on Ryan Spann at this stage of my life. So this is a pass fight for me. I think the OSP, eventually, I think that he's going to have a crumbling performance. I'm not sure if it's going to be this. But yeah, Spann, it's funny this timeline for Spann after thinking that he thought that he was going to be future champ after knocking out the corpse of Dominic Reyes, and now he's about to potentially lose to OSP. But I think that OSP has some potential grappling upside. Spann is Spann, bonk or be bonked. That's the game he lives by. So I think that this is a fight. OSP, in my opinion, in the pocket. I know Spann's chin is goofy, but I don't think that OSP is going to have the power or going to sit down on shots to put him away like that. So that does worry me for his side, but this is a pass fight for me.
Dravey, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I did post today, fade Ryan Spann bet, which is the OSP bet at plus 225. It's kind of both sides, right? I was impressed with OSP last performance, man. You said he had decent volume. Let me put it in other words. He had insane volume. He landed 143 significant strike in that fight at like 40 years old. So everybody were like, what is going on? So he had a very good performance there. And he hurt Kennedy in round 3. And he pushed deep in round 3, which was kind of crazy because Kennedy is known to be the one pushing late and getting these late finishes, but he was the one getting hurt late in the fight. And so I think that was a tough fight for him in Kennedy. And I think Kennedy is a tougher matchup than Ryan Spann, to be honest. Their training partner, yes, Spann is more dangerous in the first round, but he doesn't have like the cardio, the volume that Kennedy does to push a fight late. And the fact that OSP won that just proved me that he could, he still has some gas in the tank. Yes, he needs to be careful early here. He could get bonk or I think he could get sub in round 1. But if he doesn't, even though we're in 2024 and I'm betting a 41 years old OSP, I trust him more at the price than Ryan Spann after 5 minutes. The fight at high altitude, I think that Spann cardio is terrible. OSP cardio is not the best either, don't get me wrong, but he looked pretty good last time out. So I do trust his cardio more. I trust his volume way more. And even though he's the older guy, I think that at high altitude it does favor him. And so I think that after 5 minutes, OSP is gonna roll, and I think he could even win the first round. So I give Spann some first round upside. I think if they go to distance, it's probably going to be like a 29-28 type decision. But I wouldn't count out like OSP sub or even like a TKO because Spann doesn't have a good chin and like he's kind of a quitter. He's a good hammer but a terrible nail. And when you're gassed after 5 minutes, you don't carry the same power. So I think OSP is going to put on the volume after 5 minutes. Even maybe take this guy down. Maybe get a sub. He has multiple path to victories, man, and he's a big underdog. So give me OSP to win this, plus 225. Ryan Spann minus 250 or minus 300 against anyone. I did play Guskov against him at plus money last time out. And I mean, if I play Guskov at plus money, I have to play I have to play OSP at a bigger price. And also Spann, man, the guy is like he get into his own head. He's like a confidence fighter, but now he's in 3-fight losing streak. So yeah, man, I think OSP is gonna get this one done.
All right, I think I'm unmuted. Perfect. JewishBettor, what are you thinking, man?
Yeah, I think OSP, man. I wanted to say he's gonna knock him out, like Dravey said, because that would be crazy if he knocked out Menafield and Juku. And then now Ryan Spann. And we've seen Ryan Spann just got chinned in the last fight as well. OSP does have that nasty check left hook that he can hurt you with. I think he even dropped Kennedy in the third round is what I'm saying. But it would be crazy, man. Honestly, I think Spann though is a lot quicker fighter. This guy Ovince St. Preux, I don't think he has a lot of pop behind his shots. But it's just after that 4-minute mark, even the 3-minute mark for Ryan Spann, he kind of just falls off the cliff. So I can't bet him at chalk, but I also don't know if I'm going to take the stab at Ovince St. Preux. I'll probably see where the line goes, see where the market goes throughout the week. And for me, it's just dog or pass. I just don't know if I'm getting fooled by Ovin's last performance against Kennedy because I just don't trust Kennedy from a mile away. Spann, I don't trust either. So Got to be a dog or pass for me, bro.
Hey, you're muted again, bro. Is that your first podcast? What's going on?
I'm trying to be good about my mic. Usually my mic's
is that the
not too
glasses?
low.
What's up?
Nothing. We're all good. What I was saying was, I agree. I mean, this could be a complete upset spot, or not upset spot, but a Ryan Spann get right spot, if you will. But I don't know. I think OSP. I mean, if OSP is going to win a decision against Kennedy, I kind of just feel like he's going to win one against Spann too. I'm pretty sure they're training partners as well. I think.
Yeah.
Right.
I just said it. Listen, when I'm talking, bro. I
was doing something else. I was sending out a tweet for our show here. Okay, so this one's done. Key, we're going to have you go first on the next one. It's obviously going to be, it's kind of like your Super Bowl, right? It's going to be Carla Esparza versus Tisha Pennington or Tisha Torres. Carla Esparza, she's 19-7. She's 36, 5'1", 63-inch reach. Already mentioned this is her retirement fight. Tisha Pennington is 13-7. She's 35, 5'1", 61-inch reach. She's out of American Top Team. Odds on these two ladies, you can get Esparza anywhere from +150 to +140. Tisha Torres anywhere from -175 to -180. Break it down for us.
Yeah, this is a very, very interesting fight, in my opinion. I actually like the matchmaking here. But what I don't like, especially on the Esparza side, is the fact that she announced way ahead of time that this is going to be her retirement fight. And I agree with Champ here. I do think that the Penningtons are going to end up going undefeated here. But I think that Carla's path, what people probably don't know is that this is a rematch from Tough way, way back in the day. Probably, I think, a little bit over a decade exactly, a rematch. And in that fight, 2 rounds on Tough, as many know. One judge had it 1-1, and then the other 2 had it 2-0 Esparza. I think that it was 1-1, and you can even argue for a Torres winning that fight, in my opinion. Esparza just controlled her on the ground. Pennington's wrestling at that time obviously was a little bit young. I think since then, we've seen Pennington handle multiple grappling tests over and over again. And I don't think that Esparza is like some elite wrestler at this stage of her career. The athleticism is definitely gone. This is her first fight after having her child. We saw how Tisha came back after her child, and she looked fast, and I thought that she won that fight against Tabitha Ricci. But I think that this is a spot where Tisha's going to piece her up on the feet. She's going to stop the takedowns, and the speed difference on the feet is insane and disgusting. And Esparza is, as we know, staring at people. And in the Wei Lee fight, she showed a little bit more fight, but we're talking about 2022, and now you're coming back at elevation against a girl who trains at elevation, fresh off of a baby, and you're at an athletic disadvantage here. So this was an easy click for me whenever this dropped. Members in the Discord, I track what we get in there. We're able to get +115 all the way through -125. I think that those are fair prices. I line her closer to -150, -175 range here, Tisha. I think that she's going to light her up on the feet. And I can't say enough, the athleticism advantage that she has and the striking advantage that she has is very, very wide here. So I think that as far as you're praying for 15 minutes of top time and potentially a sub, but Tisha's never been subbed in the UFC. So this is a fight where I really, really think that Tisha's going to be able to get back in the win column. Hopefully start a little last second career run. I know her wife has the belt now. Hopefully she can go on a little run herself. She definitely has the tools and the athleticism to still do it. And I was surprised at even how her cardio looked last fight. I thought they looked a lot better than previous. So that's fresh off of a child. I don't expect Esparza to look the same. She was already not super athletic, and now she's fresh off of a baby. It doesn't make sense here. Saying that you're retiring months and months before this fight, I mean, it's a lot of checkout signs. And once you start saying the R word way before a fight, is bad look. So I think that Tisha's going to light her up here.
JB, what are you thinking, man? You feel the same way about this?
I do. I think this could be a really good favorite on the card where she wins a dominant decision every single round, hurts her really bad, maybe just doesn't have the power to put away. I could see even a club and sub when Carla gets desperate to try and use that wrestling. Tisha does have really good counter wrestling. She could reverse, and like if Carla's just really, really tired, and she's just getting absolutely lit up on the feet, I don't see the knockout for Pennington, but I think the sub at 12-1 maybe could be a possible look. She did sub Lima back in the day. And in the last fight with Carla Esparza, I know it's Weili Zhang, obviously. She's extremely good, but the way she just got reversed, put into that crucifix position so easily by Weili Zhang, it looked like she was about to be subbed there, and then she gets subbed. So, I don't know. I think it's a dominant decision for Tisha Pennington. I think the optimal way to probably play her is the money line, but for me, it's just the lateral movement here. It's going to be staying away from Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza, she wants to stick to you like glue, and Tisha Pennington knows that. And when you are just a one-dimensional fighter, I'm going to be probably betting against you because now the opponent just has to know what you're doing, and if they could defend against those, it's a chess match. And Tisha Pennington, her movement is the perfect counter to that, and I think she's going to be piecing her up with combos as well. So give me Pennington. I think she's going to make it pretty obvious.
Drop, you go, and I'll go last.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I think the boys broke it down perfectly. I just saw Dan in the comments said that Esparza bring even her baby to the media day. So I mean that's not good to see. You know, that's red flags for sure. Yeah, I think that's a good matchup for Pennington, man. Like she's younger in her career. I think her takedown defense gonna hold up, and on the feet, I mean, Peg, you can get up the comments now so people can see me. You know. But yeah, I mean, I'm just saying.
No one wants to see you, bro.
You know, her striking's better. She's faster. She still have fights to give, I think. And yeah, she won her last fight. I think they robbed her. They love Richie, you know. So yeah, I think that everybody kind of agree with the decision. Everybody disagree with the decision, so that's bad for her. And as far as I mean, I know she's almost 37. She said that's her last fight. So retirement fight. Just got her baby. Well, we know sometimes when these girls come back after having a child, they tend to lose their next fight. But then you're adding the fact that she said she's gonna retire, and the fact that she's 37. You know, it just add red flags after red flags still on her side. Pennington, she just got the fight after having her baby. Like he said, she looked better than I expected. So now I think she's gonna look even better than her last fight. Speed difference is kind of insane. Striking advantage is crazy. Yeah, I think she wins a decision, dominant decision. I think 30-27 here.
Yeah, so I'm going to disagree with everyone here. I'm going with Carla Esparza here. Yeah, she had her baby. Yeah, she said the R word. All these things are never really good signs, but I don't know. Sometimes in a retirement fight, people give it their last fight and they give it their all. We're looking at Carla Esparza, right? The rematch, this is the rematch after the Ultimate Fighter, but Esparza's only loss as of recently is Weili Zhang, who is a beast. She got dominated in that fight, but before that, Rose Namajunas beat her in a fight that nothing of significance really happened. It was so low volume. I think there were like 60 strikes combined in an ugly split decision 5-round fight. She top-timed Yan Zanan, and that's pretty impressive. Yan just went the distance with Zhang Weili. She beat Marina Rodriguez. She beat Michelle Waterson. I mean, if you want to give her if we want to go all the way back to the Verna fight, she beat her too and got her down 4 times. So the grappling's there. I mean, sure, Tisha's is definitely the better athlete and the better striker for sure, but we're not gonna Tabitha Ricci got Tisha down. Angela Hill got her down twice. Brianna Fortino, don't even know who that is, got her down twice. Jessica Andrade took her down 10 times. It's this girl's not like this. I guess she's got good takedown defense, as Key's saying. You got to go with Key's word over mine, obviously, when it comes to women's MMA. Doesn't really make sense to me. I think if Esparza goes out there and leaves it all out there and wrestles, we could see that fight where Key said, you're hoping for a top time of 15 minutes and a complete wrestling match. I'm going to go with the dog to do that. That's how I'm going to play it. Someone's got to be different on the show. We can't all agree, right?
Yeah. Don't you think some of those people that took down Tisha Pennington are better strikers and could actually set up?
Most of them are. I don't really rate anyone striking below Carlos, to be honest.
And Angela Hill only had 1 minute and 56 seconds of control time. Dern wasn't able to take her down, but Dern's wrestling sucks. And then Ricci went 1 for 10, and Ricci's a lot better striker. I would say maybe Carlos Esparza is a different style of wrestler, but yeah, 5 minutes and 15 seconds of control time for Tabitha Ricci. So I guess that would be Esparza's path, but I feel like there's 2 years out of the octagon when you're not, doing your job for 2 years, you lose that, a little bit. It's a lot of muscle memory, right? So.
And you had a baby
now
too.
She had a baby and all that stuff. It's just hard to like really trust all those red flags for me, man.
I agree. I just got to go the opposite way of everyone else. Got to prove a point here. Next fight we got is Drav. I'm going to have you go first here, by the way. Next fight is going to be Alexander Hernandez versus Austin Hubbard. This is Alex Hernandez back up at 155, by the way. Alex Hernandez, 14-8. He's 32, 5'9", 72-inch reach. Austin Hubbard is 16-7, 32, 5'10", with a 7'1" reach. Both these guys train at altitude, so they're both at different Denver camps. Odds on these two gentlemen. I'm also, by the way, the reason I'm bringing up altitude in every breakdown here is because obviously this fight's at Salt Lake City. It's in altitude. People like the narrative of training at altitude for fighting in altitude during a fight week like this. So I'm just making it obvious for the viewer, whoever wants to listen, that letting them know who's training at altitude, who isn't. Odds on these two gentlemen, Hubbard's anywhere from plus 145 to plus 155. Alex Hernandez anywhere from minus 170 to minus 160. Dravy, Alex has been a monster at 155, was a little disappointing at 145. Do we think he comes back here as an animal and just takes out Austin Hubbard early? Or do you think Austin Hubbard puts it together here?
All right, so first of all, don't go off topology. Hubbard doesn't train at Team Elevation anymore. He did his training camp with Bilal Muhammad and Bahamondes in Chicago. I think that's in Chicago, right? The camp?
Yeah, so that's below.
That's striking.
Yeah, so that's below sea level, so that's not altitude anymore.
Yeah, so you did switch camp for this camp. You went there, been training hard. I like that, to be honest. I like the camp. I like the bodies that he's training with. And he's already a guy that has good cardio to start with. So he did a lot of training camp at Elevation. Now he's back with another camp, trying to get better, trying to master his craft. I respect that because, the guy has heart. He has cardio. He's going to fight for your money when you back him. He has a lot of things that you want when you're betting an underdog. I need to do more tapes on this one. With what I've seen so far, I kind of want to bet Hubbard, but it's kind of, I think Hernandez is obviously the better fighter here. He's more skills. He has more power. He's faster. But I don't think Hernandez is going to finish Hubbard. I don't think. Hubbard's pretty tough. And I don't really see a finish either side. But what I do think is I think that Hernandez, he's back at 155. I do like that. Talking about training camp, that Uber switch camp and everything, I like that from him. But Hernandez used to be a Factory X guy, and now Factory X camp split up. I don't know why, but I don't even know who's going to be his coach there. I don't know where he's training. I know he did some training with Royval. The Factory X crews together a little bit, but who's going to be his main coach? And he's a confidence fighter. He needs a team around him. He's not someone you want to trust at chalk. He has cardio issues. And so him at Elevation against a guy who has good cardio, I don't like that. So in a fight that's going to go the distance, maybe, to be honest, he's 1-4 in his last 5. And so maybe I think if you lose that one, I don't know if that's the last fight on his contract, but that's possible. I'll say, though, I like him better at 155 than 145. I think it's better for him. But yeah, I don't see him finishing. I think he's going to look good early, probably win the first round, but I'm pretty sure he's going to lose the third round. I think Hubbard's going to come out late. I think Hubbard win the third, Hernandez win the first. It's going to depend on how the second round goes. And I'm not too sure who's going to win it. So with that being said, you have one of them who's what it is now. It's minus 160. Yeah, the line dropped a lot, man. I feel like I kind of missed the train here. When Hubbard was like plus 170, plus 180, I didn't do all my research. I didn't bet that. But I think he was the side there when you have someone that's going to win round 3, lose round 1, you want the big dog. But Yeah, the price, I'll say there's still some value on Austin Hubbard at the current price, but I'm not too confident because, like I said, I think Hernandez is the better overall fighter. But I'll say that Hubbard does a better job when he's the one pressuring and on the front foot. They said it in the commentary last time. He had a very close fight. He was doing a good job. He did invest in the body early in that fight, which I think should be a part of the game plan here against Hernandez, who has bad cardio. So if he does that early, I could see him cooking him late. But yeah, to me, it's just a very close fight. I do think, gun to my head, that Hernandez is going to win a close decision, but I don't like the price for him. He's not a guy that I want to trust at this type of price. And yeah, Hubbard is, he's 2-2 as an underdog in the UFC. So I think he's the money line side, but I'm not too confident about this one. Maybe you guys have a better read than me.
So I actually, I'll go next. This is going to be this is a prediction, not a pick. I would never put money on Alex Hernandez minus 170 in this spot, but I do think he wins this fight. Kind of like Dan said here in the comments, this is a must-win fight for Alex Hernandez. This fight's relatively short notice. He's the guy training at altitude, and at 155, he's a much better fighter than he is at -1 at 145. One of the things I do like about Alex is, how I think out the gates, he's going to come out strong. Like you said, I think he wins round 1 at a pretty high clip, probably does the same thing for round 2. And taking this fight on relatively short notice and being the one to raise your hand so quickly, I think that says something about maybe something Alex is thinking. Like maybe Alex knows that this is a winnable fight for him, or this is a fight he was looking for. Also looking at Austin Hubbard, I watched him in his last fight. He's got a lot of holes in his game. I mean, I bet on Figlak against him last fight. Figlak was clearly robbed in that fight. I don't think it was. They gave him a UD.
Robbery, bro. Come on.
I don't know, bro. How are you going to what? Because you got that takedown in the end of the third round. That won him the fight. Give me a break. Come on.
We really need to stop saying robbery, man. Like, we're not.
All right, bad decision. Sorry, bad decision.
No, not even a bad decision.
Either way, bad decision.
Close fight.
Yeah, exactly. A very close fight that could have gone either way. That's the way to put it.
And I think it went the wrong way because I had money on the other guy. So that's how I feel about it. But either way, it was a close fight. But so if it was a close fight, they gave him a UD though. They gave him a unanimous decision. If it was a close fight, it should be a split. And he also lost the bet with me. So hey, we're in the same boat here. Either way, I think this is a make or break spot for Alex. I think Alex gets the win here. Would I put money on it at -170 or parlay him? Absolutely not. Line gets closer. Give me like -130, 125, maybe. But anywhere higher than that, I'm not even touching it. JB, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I like Alexander Hernandez here. I'm just not a believer of Austin Hubbard. I don't think he's that good. Do I think Alex Hernandez fades in later fights sometimes? Yeah. But I think the weight cut going back to 55 will help him. I think he's the more physical fighter here. And, yeah, when I just look at Austin Hubbard's record, like Roosevelt Roberts, split decision, not really that impressed with the Figlak. Yeah, going close fight with Michael Figlak really isn't telling me that much, in my opinion. Sure, he might have the better cardio later in the fight, but even then, I think he loses the first 2 rounds to Alexander Hernandez. And that's why I think he wins the fight. I'm going to stay away from it from a betting standpoint, but I'm just not a believer in Austin Hubbard. I don't think I want money on him in this situation. Barely even wanted to bet him against Figlak and feel lucky to get that decision, I guess. So it is what it is. I'll go with Alexander Hernandez, the great ape to win in this spot. I think he could even knock him out, to be honest.
Key, close us out.
Yeah, I played me and the guys in the premium got +300 live on Hubbard in that round 3. So I mean, I was glad to cash that ticket, even though I did have Figlak winning slightly, and that's just me being unbiased. I don't think it was a robbery or nothing. It was just a close fight, as is mostly every Austin Hubbard fight, and that's the reason why I think it probably like +180, +175, like Drop said, was probably a good bet. But +140 is just less upside because Hubbard isn't a guy that's going to separate. He's not somebody that's just going to come out here and knock Hernandez out, most likely, unless it is based off of Hernandez dying in round 2 or round 3. I'm interested to see Hernandez's approach. I know with Factory X sort of disbanding and just sort of people going their separate ways. I know Roy Val left too. I'm interested to see his approach because under the Factory X too, which he's just been tapping and leg kicks and just sort of getting away from what made him initially in his career, which was the fact that his physicality was insane. He hit like a truck. He had speed early, and he was coming out to bang. And so it's going to be interesting against a guy like Hubbard, who's not going to go away super easily. But Hubbard, again, it just feels like a loser. Like he feels like a guy that is not able to put together minutes to win rounds in judges' eyes. And I know he eked out that last one, but even during tough, that Roosevelt Roberts fight was a nasty look. He just jabbing for 15 minutes. And it just, I know that he has, in Colorado, he had a great training partners in Chepe Mariscal and Justin Gaethje. And now at Valley Pro Striking Academy, I really like that camp overall. I'm a big Bahamundes guy. I've been big on Bilal. Shout out to Dan in the chat. So I think that Mike Valley's the right guy to be with if you are looking to up that striking. And I think that he's going to have a good striking game plan coming in here. It's just the fact that it's going to be hard for me to justify a bet at these close of odds whenever I just don't know. There's so many questions. Hernandez does he come out looking like a guy that's fighting for his job, or does he come out like a guy that's scared to lose his job? I mean, there's a lot of questions here. And I do give Hernandez a lot of the finishing upside early, so it's just tough for me at plus 140 to like feel strong about a bet here. If this line gets blown out a little bit more, and I don't think it will, but if it does, then Hubbard's a good look. But at these odds, I'm willing to pass.
All right. Next fight, Ihor Potieria versus Cesar Almeida. Guys, by the way, if you give us a like and a subscribe, we'd appreciate it. It's one way to support us. You know, we do this all for free every week. We appreciate the support. Let me do this here. Where can I get that? Share this. All right. Ihor Potieria, 21-6. He's 28, 6'3" to 75-inch reach. Cesar Almeida, 36, 6'1", 74-inch reach. Odds in these two gentlemen, Potieria is plus 305, plus 335. Almeida is anywhere from minus 380 to minus 430. We got Cesar Almeida's training in with Alex Pereira and those guys over there. Ihor Potieria, I'll be honest, I don't know where he's training. Anyone got any idea?
He did some training at Extreme Couture a couple months ago, but now he's back at his place. I don't know where it is on Instagram. I can't really tell the name of the gym, but he's not at the place that I know at least. But he's back with his guys in his country. But I'm not.
He's training where Ihor Potieria trains, wherever that place is.
Exactly.
So I'll go first in this one. I think Almeida, round 2, round 3, probably going to look pretty good. I think Ihor, the way I played it right off the bat, I didn't play those round 2, round 3 props yet. I'm just waiting for them to drop on commercial books. I think they dropped today, but I didn't look at them yet. I played the over. I think I played over 1.5 plus 125. I think Almeida kind of is going to take his time here with Potieria to start. I think Poteria's chin isn't the worst thing in the world. I know saying that after the Michelle Pereira fight's kind of like a little scary, but I think that was – people use the word meme very loosely. I think that fight was a meme because it was almost like a meme fight twice where he did a backflip and stomped on his head. I was there live in Miami when that happened. He stomped on his head, did a backflip, and then jumped up and chased him and got him in a standing guillotine. So that was a little crazy. But before that, he fought Robert Brycecheck, who was – I mean – he looked like he was on all the steroids and a world beater, and he was able to go 3 rounds and soak those shots. Other than that, I have like some confidence in his chin. And honestly, my read on it is Ihor is one of those guys that's kind of like big enough and dumb enough that he can survive. If he is to get a takedown on Cesar Almeida and top time him, I think he'll just try and lay on him the whole time and panic because he knows if he gets back up, he's in trouble. So he'll try his best to keep him down. That'll keep us there for maybe a round. I don't know. Something about over 1.5 feels like it's going to hit in this fight with Ihor Potieria. Like I said, I think Almeida probably a round 3 finish is pretty live. Round 2 finish also. You play both of those, and you get the late round 2 finish. You get double cash there. But my play's the over. But if I got to pick a side, I'll play Almeida. JB, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think Cesar Almeida probably is gonna knock him out. But
When do you think he does?
I don't know if he does. I don't know if he does for real.
He's about to say a sub prop here. I know the sound of that voice.
That's my that's the inner me talking. I don't know. But my dude Ihor, he fits a few criterias, right, man? My dude is the way younger fighter. He's got a ton more experience. Say what you want about the level of competition. Well, we'll go into Cesar Almeida's record in a second. I think he's good. I think he's a good striker, but this is a 205, or this is at 185. Ihor Potieria obviously could crack. He has power coming down from the weight class. And let's look at the times he was a dog. He was a dog on Contender Series. He got the job done. It was versus Lucas Sadolski. Obviously, this guy, Cesar Almeida, we're going to give him some credit, a little bit better than that. He's a plus 165 dog. Then he came out against Carlos Oberg and was a plus 33 around the same line. I think Oberg's a great kickboxer. I think he's, younger than Cesar Almeida, a better athlete. Overall, just a better fighter than Cesar Almeida. Adolfo Bellato, I actually bet the duelist at plus 335 in that fight. And honestly, he hurt him really bad in the first round. He was looking like he could have even beat Adolfo Bellato that night. And then, yeah, he eventually did get chinned. But it worries me because the gas tank, obviously, we have the Michel Pereira fight as well and the Brzezczyk fight. So it's tough, man. I think he can win as an underdog. He's proven it before. Cesar Almeida, he's probably the price he is here is like the price he is versus guys like Michel Pereira and all these other guys who I think are better than Cesar Almeida, because Cesar Almeida is being who, Dylan Budka, who already showed us he's absolute trash. Yeah. If Potieria just comes out here with a little bit better cardio, all he needs is 2 takedowns to win this fight, bro, because Cesar Almeida, he just doesn't get up. I don't know if he's going to be able to get takedowns constantly and not gas him, but I don't know if he needs to, because Cesar Almeida really didn't show any urgency to get back up in his last fight. And he got clipped there as well. He's a lot older, so this is a volatile fight to me. I have to say this is a dog or pass in my opinion. I don't think there's any value on Cesar Almeida whatsoever.
All right. Key, what are you thinking here, man?
Well, I know that there's only 14 people in this world who have beat Shogun Rua, and 2 of those names are John Jones and Ihor Potieria. So you tell me and do the math here. But in all seriousness, I think that this is Cesar Almeida spot. I bet Cesar last time out, I believe like plus 135 against Kopylov. I thought that he was a better striker. I thought that he actually deserved to win that fight. He randomly just couldn't defend a takedown at all and couldn't get off his back. And some of that was open mat stuff. And I think that was problematic for him. Because it seems as if in the Budka fight, the cage was his best friend and he was able to use it to get up. And that looked okay. So I don't expect Potieria. I was there live when Oberg did it, Potieria and Charlotte. I think that this is a spot where Cesar's going to put it on him. Cesar's been on regionals. I know he was fighting bums, but he was a fast starter on regionals. And so it's been interesting to see him win these later rounds in the UFC and on Dana White Contender Series. So I think, yeah. But I think that Cesar's going to put it on him. I like the camp switch, getting with Poatan and Glover. I think that's a great camp for him. I think that there's a lot to learn for him. And I wish that he came over a couple years earlier, because we know he is getting closer to the end of his career. But this guy's good, man. He hits like a truck. He's rock solid. He pushes a pace decently. And I think that at altitude, you're not going to have to push much of a pace at all. I think Ihor just walking to the octagon probably gasses him a little bit. So this is a fight where I think that Almeida's going to put it on him. Round 2, round 3 is sexy, but I do think that he can get the round 1 KO. So KO, that's the prediction here.
Why do people get so upset about Ihor's celebration against Shogun? If it was my debut and I knocked out Shogun, I'd be pretty hyped too. Like, what was
because they were in Brazil? He's a Brazilian legend, and he just stunned on him. Maybe.
And it was not his debut. He got smoked in his debut.
Oh, that was his second fight? Who did he debut against?
Nicolau. I don't know where this guy
Nikolai
is.
Negomarano.
Oh, yep, that one. Yep, remember
The
that.
guy has
Okay,
not fought in 2 years. I don't know where he is.
he disappeared. That guy fell off the map, bro.
He's had neck and back problems, I believe.
Oh, okay. Makes sense, Don. Makes sense. Yeah, I kind of agree with Peg there. I think he's gonna cook him, but I don't think it's gonna be in the first round. I think it's gonna be round 2, 3. I just think the level in the striking is insane. I don't know if people understand it, but Eeyore is super hittable and he's gonna get cracked badly. Almeida's a nasty striker. I mean, he turned Kopylov into a wrestler. Kopylov is super fast. He dropped him early, and Almeida still come out on top around 2, 3. He had problems with the wrestling, but I don't think he was really expecting it. Kopylov never done that before, and his takedown defense looked good the fight prior to that when he was expecting it. So I have to believe that he's going to work on it. And the fact that he decided to switch can, go with Glover and Pereira, and I can guarantee you they train wrestling, grappling a lot. So I like that for him. I think that's a good camp. And yeah, man, the difference in speed, power, precision is crazy. Almeida's going to smoke this guy on the feet. But I do think that Eeyore can potentially slow the fight down early. Almeida's guy that tend to, get his read in early. He's going to try to get his timing and everything. I think first 2-3 minutes of the first round is going to be like him trying to find his shots and find his timing. And I think Eeyore could potentially get him down early. But Eeyore is a gasser. I know the fight that he went the distance, he looked good in. But let's not forget that he had like a 3 or 4 minutes break because of a blow, a low blow. So he had a couple of minutes. I think it was it round 2? I think so. I think his cardio looked better because of that, and he was facing a guy that is not UFC caliber. So he was doing his thing. But here he's gonna get cracked. He's gonna get counters. I think Almeida's gonna destroy his legs and find a KO in round 2. So yeah, I like that better. I wouldn't lay the money line because if somehow it go the distance, it could get a little bit tricky because it means that Eeyore potentially had wrestling upside. And he's a big dude, but him cutting to 185 is a big cut. It's not gonna help his cardio and him at elevation. After 5 minutes, I think he's gonna get cooked here. Almeida, very good cardio, very durable fighter. I think round 1 could be competitive, but I think round 2, 3 is gonna destroy this guy.
All right. Next fight we got here is Marina Rodriguez versus Yasmin Lucindo. Marina Rodriguez is 17-4-2. She's 37-5'6" with a 65-inch reach. Yasmin Lucindo is 16-5. She's 22-5'3" with a 66-inch reach. Odds in these two ladies, we got Marina Rodriguez plus 165 plus 150. We got Yasmin Lucindo minus 175 to minus 190. Our women's expert, Key, take it away.
Yeah. So I had 5 units out on Lucindo last time out. I think that this is another spot for her. And I had Andrade versus Rodriguez in that fight also. I know that Rodriguez looked amazing and people love that performance against the Karate Hottie. But I think that that's like absolute, like damn near perfect matchup for her at this stage of her career. Karate Hottie is damn near harmless. And in other fights, we've seen one off of her back, she's continued to be absolute trash. And Lucindo is a good grappler offensively and shown to be able to settle on top and be able to actually implement a grappling game. On the feet, we've seen Marina struggle to take shots, honestly. I think that she lost that Andrade fight based off of some bad body language and just not reacting well to some of the big time shots and hooks that Andrade was throwing. In the Limos fight, we saw her brain pretty much just like shut off and like she damn near turned her back and the ref had to save her there. So I think that she's 37 at this point. I believe so. Yeah, 37. Going against the youngest person on the card, one of the youngest people in the whole organization at 22 years old. I know Lucindo's gotten out some work with Amanda Nunes, but she's mostly in Brazil. I personally like this girl a lot. I think that she has a lot of upside. I think that's interesting and very telling for matchmaking that they're willing to throw her into the fire this quickly. I thought that they could have slow rolled her a little bit more, giving her age. But I think that Lucindo is really, really solid. I think that she checks a lot of the boxes. She's down to fight, which I think is a huge thing against a girl like Rodriguez, who in my opinion is a little bit of a front runner. So I think that Lucindo has all the upside here. I think that she's really the real deal. I could see a sub. I could see a KO. I could see a club and sub. I know Jewish is probably like having like heart palpitations looking at some of these sub props. So Lucindo is the queen here. I played her. Guys in the Discord got -125 through -150. I think that this is going to be a show spot. And altitude doesn't worry me because I think the Lucindo showing solid cardio, and she's a dog most of all, which I love that she showed in her UFC debut against Rodriguez. So yeah, Lucindo's gonna get it done. Rodriguez, I think we're coming close to the end for her. So
yeah, I agree. Age, physicality, grappling. This girl's gonna get it done. 22 years old. They set her up with a name like this for a reason. Jewish, what are the long shots, brother? Give them to us.
I don't know how you can't like the 2-3 sub in this spot. Just like my man Key said right in the beginning, the cardio, the age, the physicality for Lucindo. Just the fact that we're in women's MMA, when we see these finishes more often than not, they're via sub, not by KO, TKO. We're in elevation where we know, I believe it was the guy John Kelly posted, you see a elevated number of subs percentage. Obviously, it's a small sample, but I think it's because, people gas, they look, to get out of the fight, and they're getting outworked by a younger, hungrier, more physical, better at grappling. Already has a win via sub in the UFC. I know Marina never been sub, but she's been in a bunch of sketchy spots grappling. I wouldn't rate her higher than I'd give her a blue belt. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas Lucindo's probably a solid purple belt. I think if they was to roll in the room, Lucindo would probably wrap her up in a bundle. But obviously Marina's got some good striking, but I think it's past their time. Well, we got like a 15-year age advantage here. Is that what it is? I think we see a lot of these older guys that people once liked on their way out. So maybe the money line's kind of getting wide at this point for Lucindo. Maybe you scrape out a little bit of value at this point. But if you got her at like -160 or less, you made a good bet. And I do like the sub prop, my dude Key. You called it.
Drop. Go last. What do you got?
Yeah, I think me and Keith both played at the same time. I did play her -125 also to win 2 units. The line is kind of gone now. I think the current price is the right price at around -180, -190. The much younger girl with better cardio at elevation, with grappling upside that can match the power of Rodriguez also. And I think that on the feet it's going to be close fight. But Rodriguez, like you guys said, she's kind of a front runner, right? And I think it was a terrible look at the end of round 2 and in round 3 against Andrade, because she was looking good, man. She was doing good work. And then somehow at the end of the round, she was getting tired. She was turning her head. Looked like she was ready to quit or something. It was weird. And then she's a girl that when you take her down, she doesn't know how to get back up. And her grappling is not good. Yeah, exactly. When you're taking her down, she's not getting back up. I do agree with that. Her submission defense is pretty good, though. I give her that. So I'm not I think it's going to be hard for Lucindo to submit her, but at elevation, at 37 years old, if there's a time she gets finished, I think it could be there. Lucindo, a girl that paying her dues, as my man Dan would say, she's getting the wins now. And I think the best thing that could have happened to her is the loss that she had in her debut, because she was very young. She had a war. She got tested. And, so I think it was a good loss to have on her resume at her age. And she's a girl that's been facing a lot of girls since she was very young. She has almost the same amount of fight as Rodriguez, and she's 22 years old. That's kind of crazy, when you look at it. They almost have the same amount of fights. And Rodriguez is a girl that cardio has been looking shaky lately. Chin has been looking shaky. The art seems not to be there. So I think her at elevation is not going to end well in round 2-3. So I do think that Lucindo has some finish. I think she does have more finishing upside than Rodriguez. All the grappling upside, the the career trajectory is on her side. But yeah, obviously that's a step up in competition. So I understand why people would potentially want to take a dog shot at the current price, but I do think the price is justified. And yeah, I think she makes a statement here, and she showed that she's ready for this level at only 22 years old. So yeah, I think she get it done. More than likely a decision, but I wouldn't be shocked if she gets a late finish here.
All right. Next fight, I think we are. This is the main of. This is the prelim main event. Yeah, it's the prelim main event right here. We have. Let me share this tab. It's Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. Wonderboy 17-7, 41, 6 feet with a 75-inch reach. Joaquin Buckley 19-6, 30 years old, 5'10 with a 76-inch reach. Odds in these two gentlemen, you get Wonderboy anywhere from plus 184 to plus 170. You get Joaquin Buckley anywhere from minus 215 to minus 200. I'll take this one first. I love the spot for Buckley. I absolutely love it. And here's why. We watch Wonderboy, he usually stunts on guys where they're guys who are willing to strike with him. Joaquin Buckley, by the way, Taekwondo black belt. That's one thing that people aren't talking about. So that's where he started. He got this boxing, he got his grappling, all this came later. So Taekwondo versus karate, don't get me wrong. He's not in the same world as Wonderboy, but he started off as a striker first. What you notice about Wonderboy, if you go and look at the tapes and stuff, he struggles against guys who are physically stronger than him and can grapple. Guess who's a better athlete, physically stronger, and can grapple? Joaquin Buckley. When you look and you go back and look at it, right? We're looking at Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I'll do it live on the screen with you guys. Who did he lose to? Shavkat. Shavkat, he actually stuffed a lot of takedowns to start, but he ended up getting them towards the end. Bilal Muhammad grappled him. Gilbert Burns grappled him. Like that's the key here. If we go and we look at Joaquin Buckley's Instagram, right? There's a little treat on there for you guys. And I'll give Drav credit for this one because Drav was the one who pointed it out to me. But he also said in an interview that he's looking to grapple more here. Let's take a look at this. So we're going to share this tab. What do you see there? What's that on his head? What do you think that is, Drav? What's that on his head?
That's because his name is going to be Joaquim Nurmagomedov for this fight. I think that's what's that.
BBC Margamadov is what it's going to be called. And that's what you're going to be seeing on Saturday night. He's going to put on a clinic. He's going to do him in. Don't get me wrong. He could win a decision. I could see it winning a decision. But honestly, I think if he gets Wonderboy down, Wonderboy's 41 years old. He's been wearing the damage. He always wore it pretty bad. He's been wearing it worse as of late. When you look at the guys who took him down, Bilal isn't smash on the ground, more about top position. Gilbert Burns, ground and pound. He's a submission guy. He's not a ground and pound guy. Those he's like pillow hand, hammer fist. We saw what Joaquin Buckley did when he got Luke to the ground. So I think he's going to ground. He can find a ground and pound finish here, or he's going to win a decision. But I think Joaquin Buckley is safe here at minus 200. I tweeted earlier today that I was going to give out a big bet. He is my big bet. He's minus 210 right now. I do think there's going to be money coming in on Wonderboy closer to Saturday, maybe after weigh-ins. So that's why I'm waiting right now. But I'm happy to play him up to 230 to 250, easy. What do you think, Key?
Yeah, here, I mean, I bet Buckley last time out at minus 150, I think, for like 3 units. I think it's very clear that Buckley has to wrestle here. I am very, very low on Buckley, if we're being completely honest. I don't think that the guy's the goods. I think that he's just a lot more athletic than a lot of these guys. He wants it more than these guys. But I can say that his wrestling has actually gotten better. His wrestling has improved. His gas tank has improved over the years. So I do have to give him credit for that. But on the feet, I think that he's shit. And I know that's kind of harsh, but I think that he's just all show, and he seems to be hunting ever since that highlight KO. He's just been hunting for big moments. It seems like 36% strike accuracy, and for people who aren't into the numbers, that 40 and up range is just like average. And really, you see a lot of the elite guys at 49, 50, 55. And so he's swinging at air consistently, big hooks, big explosions, telegraph combos. It's like he's hitting pads mid-fight. And so on the feet, I think that Thompson is going to do whatever he wants here. I think that Buckley has to use his athleticism, get into range, big combinations, big hooks. And one thing, Thompson does get hit. I mean, it's just true. He does get hit. In the Kevin Holland fight, we saw him get bonked a couple times. And before Kevin Holland broke his hand, Kevin Holland was putting on a solid performance in that fight. So I don't think that Thompson is any longer at the stage where he's just untouchable. He is getting older. I mean, he's 42 at this point, or damn near close to it. And so Buckley, I mean, you have to side with the age, the athleticism, the wrestling upside. Thompson pretty much has to fight a perfect fight just to get that 29-28 decision. And that's not a high upside dog, in my opinion. And so I think that Buckley wins this fight at a pretty high clip, sadly, even though I think that he is mid. So best case scenario is that Buckley, like Dan said, gets arrested for elder abuse here, finishes Wonderboy, and then the fade continues to build so I can get a big time fade at dog odds against Buckley. So this is a fight that I'm passing on, though. It feels kind of nasty just because I do think that Thompson is still competitive at this age, even, but it's tough. So it's a pass fight for me, though.
Drav, what are you thinking here? And then JB, I'm going to ask you for your long shots. I hope you got something ready.
Yeah, so I do agree with you guys there. I think Buckley's the side. I play it a little bit differently. I did parlay the over 2.5 here. I don't see a finish personally. I think that Buckley knows up the interview that I'm referring to. He did say that he wanted to grapple more. He knows the game plan. He's like, I'm not here to try to make friends. I'm here to win. And I know Wonderboy is no joke on the feet. I want to wrestle. I want to make the fight boring. I don't care about the fans and everything. So a guy like him who's like a showman that say that, I think we can count on him to do that. It's not like Kevin Holland that refused to wrestle or anything. But yeah, so I think he has massive wrestling upside. He's the much younger guy. He's going to be the stronger guy also. And I think he has power on the feet, obviously. So he could have some moments on the feet. But I think when the fight is standing, I think Thompson's going to be the minute winner of the two. And Buckley needs to be careful. But I think that Wonderboy Pat is more than likely a decision. I think the same can be said for Buckley. But I think because of the wrestling upside, because of the game plan that he's going to have coming in, I think that he's going to win a decision here. The Luque fight you referenced to, I played Buckley in that fight. Yes, he did finish him. He has a lot of KO on his resume. But Luque quit in that fight, first of all. And then he didn't finish Rizalbayev. He didn't finish Moreno. So he did finish Fiallo before that. I know he is not high on Buckley, and I'm not super high on him either. But I do think that him dropping down to 170, him being in shape more than he was before, him improving his cardio a lot, improving his wrestling, there's something to be said about it. The guy is obviously working hard, on his way to the top now. So I do respect that. I still think that his chin is kind of iffy, and he's going to be a fade sooner than later. But I don't think 41 years old Wonderboy that can't really wrestle is going to be him. He's going to be the guy to do that. And like you said, I mean, all the fights that he's losing, it's when people are, trying to wrestle him and trying to grapple him. So I just don't think that Buckley's a big threat on the ground to get a finish. I think Buckley by decision is probably safe. I know Dan played Buckley at like minus 180, minus 185. At a price like that, I think he's the money line side for sure. I still think that the price is fine, but what it is now, so it's around minus 220. I think it's accurate, minus 220 to minus 250. That's where I will line that. So props to Dan. You got in, I think, on minus 180, minus 185. I think that was good value. But at the current odds, I would suggest to bet Buckley by decision or the over 2.5. I think it goes over at a pretty high clip.
All right, JB, you're up, but we got our boy Finesse the Books. He's got a question for you. I don't know what the question is, though. He said that and then didn't answer the question. So
so I like Joaquin Buckley by decision here. I think that's the likely path. I think he's got a huge grappling upside. I think he get out physical. Wonderboy Thompson has some, little old school tricks up against the cage, but I don't think they're necessarily going to work against Buckley here. I think Dravey mentioned it. I think Buckley's actually looked a lot better at 170, even on the feet. The only way I think he could catch, obviously we've seen Thompson hurt a little bit a couple times over the past few years. We've seen it in the Till fight. We seen it in his fight for Shavkat. He just got taken down and ragdolled. It was an easy sub. I don't think I see a sub for Joe Queen Buckley, but plus 2,300 on FanDuel. They got it plus 900 on Bet Online. I don't know, my man. I might have to, take a little sprinkle. He did say in his last fight versus Luque, or the fight before the Rosaboa fight, that he did want his first career sub, but he doesn't look for it on the ground. Let's be real. He looks for vicious ground and pound via the elbows, but I don't think he's going to really be able to get off crazy damage against Wonderboy. I just think he's going to control him. I think he's going to wrestle here. I think it's going to work for at least the first 2 or 3 rounds. And then if he doesn't get knocked out by Wonderboy late, I think he wins the fight. So give me the younger guy once again here. I know I keep hammering it, keep repeating it, but I'm not going to be betting on these fighters over 40 years old. Minus 220, a little gross on Buckley, though, I'm not going to lie, because in a pure kickboxing match, when you got a guy with Wonderboy with that obvious of a path, I just don't think he's going to get the chance to use it in this fight. I don't think, Buckley's a complete fish on the feet either. And I think he's going to be able to get the job done, just mixing the martial arts a little bit better. It might be boring. I think we get a kind of boring decision from Buckley where he talks a bunch of shit after. People are mad at him. And Wonderboy doesn't really lose any respect, right? He just got out-grappled one time. But, eventually I think Wonderboy's days are going to be done. And this could be the fight where he just comes in and doesn't look the same anymore. So, yeah, Buckley for me here.
All right. We got Buck decision. Wonderboy sub 34-1. Thank him later. Buckley KO, I don't think it'd be that nuts, honestly, with ground.
It's only like plus 240. They're lining it crazy, but it's like, man, when did he get knocked out? The one time versus Anthony Pettis? Buckley is super explosive, though. Like, let's be real at the end of the day. He had that highlight kick against Impa. He's got, the power. I don't think he's going to spinning back kick a Wonderboy like that. But if he does land a big overhand right, like what's the equalizer in the striking for a guy who already has mixed in the wrestling? It's that big overhand right. So if Wonderboy goes to drop his hands to look for that takedown, I don't see why Buckley couldn't theoretically knock him out. So I don't want to get cute with any props here, bro.
No, I agree. I think decision's the best way to go about it. Let's go. We'll do this right here. All right, next fight, we got Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. Roman Dolidze, he's 13-3. He's 36, 6'2" with a 76-inch reach. Kevin Holland, 26-11, 31, 6'3" with an 81-inch reach. Both these guys, they're both, he's in Texas, he's in Vegas, both relatively sea level, so no altitude boys there. One guy has clear cardio issues, the other one does not. Roman Dolidze anywhere from plus 122 to plus 125. Holland anywhere from minus 142 to minus 150. I'm going to have JB, I'm going to have you go first, and I'll have you answer this question because I think the answer is pretty clear. But why do you think it's lined like this?
I think because the cardio dynamic, and I think that Kevin Holland is a Travis Lutter black belt at the end of the day. He's super dynamic off of his back. Does that mean he's going to win this fight here? No, I may have an even crazier take than you possibly think I could ever have on this fight. But we'll get into that. But I think the reasoning is, like we were just talking about, the cardio and the fact that, Holland does have the subs in his back pocket. He is super tricky. He's gone out there. He's competed in the grappling scene before. I've watched him go up against guys like Alec Hubin, go back and forth in the grappling. He clearly knows what he's doing. Obviously, he trains the jiu-jitsu, but it's the takedown defense that's the problem for me. And I remember cashing a nice ticket on Roman Dolidze. I believe he was minus 180 against Laureano Staropoli. The line moved, but to me, he looked minus 1,000 there because he's just holding him up against the cage. He's not making mistakes like he was in the Trevin Giles fight, falling back for the heel hooks where his coach is, yelling at him. So they said, no, you're not going to do that this fight. And he cashes against Laureano Staropoli, really just holding him up against the cage. So there's a few questions for me in this fight, right? Where for Dolidze is, can he take the right cross of Kevin Holland? I think he can. A lot of guys can't, but Marvin Vettori obviously got a good chin, was able to take it. What was that? Did anybody see that? All right, never mind. Maybe I'm just seeing things. I think this dude, Kevin Holland, though, is you're able to take him down. He has lackluster takedown defense. I think Roman Dolidze is a lot bigger, a lot more physical. Can he take the right cross? I think so. Will he get up off of his back? I don't know. And can he get up off of the cage if Roman Dolidze decides to get him there? Is he urgent to get out of these spots, or does he, pat him on the butt, talk to him, not do these things to make him win the round? I think a few of the questions I'm not sure about. If he really lands on Roman Dolidze, these are 4 ounces gloves, right? Anybody could go out, but I haven't seen anything from Dolidze that's going to tell me that the guy's not super tough, but he had been cracked in some of these fights, but he is super slow on the feet. If this is just going to be a kickboxing match, I think Kevin Holland's going to absolutely murder him. What I think happens in this fight, guys, is we haven't seen it all 2024. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Roman Dolidze comes out here in the first round and he grapples Kevin Holland. I think he holds him up against the cage. I think Kevin Holland has no urgency. I think Roman Dolidze wins the first round doing that. I think he comes out in the set because he's going to have to wrestle, guys. Let's just be real here. If me, you, Dravey, Key, we all know he's going to wrestle, right? Because if he doesn't, he's screwed. I think he's going to be able to hold Kevin Holland down for 2 rounds. Now, in that third round is when it's going to get super greasy. I think Kevin Holland, when this dude Dolidze gets gassed, is going to stunt on him on the feet in round 3. So you might want to play the Kevin Holland round 3. But the guy has no urgency to finish sometimes. He might just hit him, go into Roman Dolidze's guard, and not win the round. But I think he could 10-8 Roman Dolidze in round 3. I think we see a majority draw here, folks. 28-28. It's going to be a round 3, 10-8 for Kevin Holland. And it's going to be a draw, and these guys are going to rematch. It won't be an exciting fight in the beginning, I'll tell you, because I think Roman Dolidze is going to hold on to him, not sniffing for dear life. But in that round 3, by God, I'm pretty scared for him because Kevin Holland can crack. He's got the better cardio, and he's by far the better striker. So maybe a round 3 sub for Kevin Holland, maybe a round 3 finish. But I could even see a crazy situation where this is like a draw.
So I agree with you for the most part. I think round 3 KO, but Kevin Holland's going to hit like crack. Not that I've ever tried it, but I hear it's great. I think that's I completely agree with that. I think the fight goes a little different. I played Kevin Holland minus 150. It's minus 140 now, minus 142 you can get on BetOnline. I love that number. He's a faster guy. He's more athletic. He's got the better cardio. I think he's going to go in there and stunt on Roman. You got to obviously worry about Roman takedown. You got to worry about him getting him in a calf splicer and beating him down like he did Jack Hermanson. You also got to worry about the clinch. Like you said, Roman was able to clinch Imavov pretty good, and we saw how good Imavov is. But I don't know. Something tells me Kevin Holland being the quicker guy, if this Roman's like punches, they look slow at this rate. He's a slow striker. And if you're going to try and stand and straighten a fist fight with Kevin Holland, you're going to lose that fight. I think it takes some time. I think he breaks Roman down over time in round 3, finishes him. Goes to the ground. I'm not worried about the bullshit meme leg locks Roman goes for and all that. He's like you said, he's a Lutter black belt. Not worried about that. He'll get out of any of those subs. It's more about getting stuck in a tough position and ground and pounded if he gets finished on the ground or gets crotch sniffed. But you got to get him there first. I think Kevin Holland's going to be aware that's his game plan. And if that's the case and he can't get him down, Kevin Holland's going to look minus 200, minus 250 here. So I'm happy to take a shot at minus 140. Probably going to play Kevin Holland round 3 KO. And then, I didn't look at the decision prop, but decision prop's probably not a bad one either. But I think Kevin Holland wins this fight. I think this is kind of like we got a guy in Holland going up in weight. I think he looks better at 170 than he does 180. But the guys at 180s are a lot slower than him. Roman has been going up between 205 and down to 185 with bad cardio, coming back down to 185. I think he's going to gas. He can't do this at altitude for 15 minutes. We all know that. So give me Kevin Holland late. Give me Kevin Holland money line. Drav, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, you guys are spot on. If GB's right, I'll be pissed because I'm on the round 3 for Holland. So if he gets the 10-8 and he doesn't finish him, it's going to piss me off. So I hope you're wrong on that. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I've noticed on tape here. I know Dolidze is a popular dog. One of the dog of the week, actually, for most people. I do understand why, he's the bigger guy, wrestling, grappling upside. We know Holland can be dumb at time. You can hold him against the fence. He could potentially then takedowns. But then you look a little bit deeper into that, right? the last time Dolidze fought, he fought at 205 on short notice. He looked gassed as fuck in round 3. He lost round 3 in a fight that he dropped Smith the round prior to that. So he's a guy that his cardio is not very good. That's a big weight cut for him to fight at 185. And he's slow as shit. Someone of you guys mentioned it. He's slow as fuck, man. That's crazy. Like on the feet, I don't even think it's a fight, especially after a round when this guy is tired. And then you add the fact that the fight at high altitude, so with his shaky cardio is bad, but the fact that he has a big weight cut and the fact that he's dropping back down to 185 after fighting at 205 and still gassing the fight before that. And you have a guy in Holland he used to fight at 170, fought at 185. So he's going to be for sure the smaller guy, but he's going to match him on reach, and he doesn't have to cut weight here. So he's a cardio guy that doesn't cut weight at elevation against a guy who has a big weight cut, who's a gasser. And Holland's going to be so much faster than this dude. It's not even close on the feet, Dolidze, he does have some power. He's a tricky guy sometimes, with the subs and everything. But like the guy said, I don't think he's going to submit Holland on the high clip. I don't think it's very likely. And then I think Holland takedown defense has got better than before to that, And he lost to some wrestler back in the days, when he lost to Chimaev, he got sub, but like Bronson, Vettori, both of them are better wrestler with better cardio than Dolidze. But yeah, Dolidze is dangerous with the sub, so Holland needs to be careful. But I think his takedown defense improved since then. And the difference in the cardio, the difference in the speed, the difference in how they're gonna look in round 3 is crazy to me here. And go watch and back the Trevin Giles fight. Like he got cracked in round 3, Dolidze, and he almost got rolled by a Dars. You know who has nasty long arms and nasty Dars? Kevin Holland, So I do think the sub's also live late in the fight, but I do favor the KO because Dolidze very, very good grappler. So I don't think he's gonna get submitted. But if there's a fight where he get club and sub, that's probably this one, So I do like that from Holland. And also Holland has a lot of KO3 in his career. The only guy to knock out Jeff Neal back in the day, guess when it was? It was in the round 3 that he got the knockout over Neal. And then he has a KO over Santiago in the UFC in round 3. And he has a KO over Buckley in the UFC in round 3. So he's a guy that used his cardio to finish guy late. And you have a guy in Dolidze who, never been finished, but now he's facing a good finisher that has much better cardio than him. And he just got hurt badly the fight, not his last fight, but against Imavov. He got hurt with a straight right hand down the pipe. Holland is nasty with them at distance. But then he got hurt with knees to the body. Ask Alexander, I forgot his name, Anthony Hernandez, my bad. Ask him how bad Holland hit to the body with the knees, So a guy like Dolidze who's going to get tired, when he's going to try to clinch, you're going to have Holland destroying his body with knees. And Dolidze a very tough guy, but he can't get hurt. He can't get tired. And I think he potentially have success in round 1, slow the fight down. Round 2, we're starting to see a switch of momentum. Holland win this round. And then round 3, Dolidze trying to wrestle early, doesn't get it. Then he's very tired and Holland capitalize on it. And the first one to finish Dolidze in round 3. So we're going to be there. We're going to be back here next week, and we're going to be talking about how Holland's the first guy to beat Dolidze, to finish Dolidze in round 3. And it's plus 1,000 or better for that. So put me in. Let's get it.
So I just got Kevin Holland round 3 KO plus 2,500 on FanDuel. And then I was just looking at this too. I was looking at DraftKings. You could play Kevin Holland to finish in round 3, just straight round 3, so you don't got to pick a side. He is where was that? It's plus 1,500 on there. And you say, like, we all saying KO for Holland, and we also worried about, a ground and pound ear hole KO by Dolidze. Fight to end by KO is plus 250 as well. So if you like Roman Dolidze and you think he's going to finish Kevin Holland, or you want to cover your spot by Kevin Holland knocking out Roman, plus 250, that ain't a bad shot to do that. So that's just something I wanted to point out. Key, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, those prices you just said for some of those round 3 was crazy. I'm from a money line perspective.
That's why we do it.
Yeah, from a money line perspective, I have no interest here. I think that Dolidze has real BJJ. People forget. I know that it comes as a knockout on his record for Phil Hawes, and yeah, he did end up knocking him out in a nasty way. But it was a heel hook that set that up. Phil Hawes' knee was completely cooked. I mean, like he was absolutely done. And fight probably should have been stopped. And Dolidze was actually asking the ref, like, "Yo, his knee is done." And then Phil Hawes lived to go on and live a long, dark death from there. So I think that here, though, it's not necessarily that Dolidze even needs like a traditional takedown to initiate some crazy grappling sequence. In the Hermanson fight, even, it was a weird trip and then leading to almost a reverse triangle, which led to a heel hook attempt and then into a calf slicer. I mean, just nasty, nasty transitions. And I mean, in terms of craftiness, I think that, yeah, Kevin Holland has the dark chokes, and yeah, that's cool. But I think that Dolidze, BJJ for BJJ, I think that Dolidze is going to win that grappling match. Here in the spot, Dolidze is big overhands, walk forward, talk a little shit in the process. That's his whole process, standing up. I don't rate him on the feet. I played Imavov pretty big over him. Shout out to Imavov for whooping Brendan Allen's ass in round 2 and round 3 last week. And so I think that in this spot, Kevin Holland is a 170 guy. I think that that's where he should be. I don't think that he should be at 185. Dolidze could pass as a 205er and is now coming back down to 185, his normal weight class. Strength-wise, we've seen Kevin Holland be fine just up against the cage. Yes, versus Chiesa and a couple other guys, he showed some urgency, but he just has head-scratching performances. I mean, other than Chimaev, every single fight Kevin Holland has been in has been winnable. I mean, has been winnable every single fight. The JDM fight, which was closer than a lot of people actually think of whenever they look over these records, that was a split decision. I personally thought that Kevin Holland won that fight upon first watch. And I changed my tune after a second watch. But I thought live that Kevin Holland had a good argument, and that was one of the only fights where Kevin Holland didn't sit down on his shots. He was just he looked like a Diaz brother, the way that he was just tapping in that fight. In the Michael Page fight, that fight was 1-1 going into round 3. I know people make it seem, and the highlights look like it was just a complete ass whooping. But Kevin Holland was 1-1 going into that fight. If he gets top time or gets the back again in round 3, we're talking about Kevin Holland beating MVP. The Macau fight, absolute meme shit, gets dropped into arm bar. Only Macau could do some shit like that. So I don't really look too much into that fight. Holland should look good in round 3. As the rest of the panel has mentioned, I think that he will look good in round 3. But is he going to take 20 seconds to talk to the crowd or talk to Dana? Is he going to take 10 seconds to high five Dolidze? Is he going to take 5 seconds to look and point at Mick Maynard and Hunter Campbell? Like, you just don't know. Like, you don't know. And Dolidze is also another talker and showman. So I feel like we're going to get at least some type of time burned off in this fight based off of them high-fiving and wanting to just beat each other off at this point. Pause. So it's just being honest. I'm just being real. And so it's really hard to know what you're going to get from Kevin Holland. Is he going to come in and just look like a potential top 5, top 10 guy like his ceiling truly is? Or is he going to come in and fight to the level of competition, slap hands, laugh a little bit, talk to Dolidze's corner? Like, you just don't know. So I'm not putting favorite money on this guy. I'm looking at some of these round 3 props, and I don't know if I can resist for too much longer. So some of these round 3 props.
Do it.
Yeah,
You're going to be sad when we all hit them and you don't.
Dude,
and
I'm
honestly,
you, it's the draw.
I'm about to win a band.
You have to ask yourself, like, round 3 at elevation, round 3 starting, do you want to hold a Kevin Holland ticket? And the answer is
let this boy cook.
And so I think that round 3 is the way to play this. And I think that Dolidze eventually, like, somebody has to put him out here. Imavov should have done it. And if Imavov didn't initiate some of those grappling sequences, he probably would have. But somebody has to put this guy out eventually. So Kevin Holland is the side, not from a money line perspective, but props. There's some way to get creative here. And I think that he does win.
When in doubt, Key, call Big Mouth. All right. Next fight we're looking at is you're going to go first, Key, so get ready. Next fight we got here is Kayla Harrison versus Caitlin Vieira. These two girls, Kayla Harrison, 17-1, 34, 5'8", 66-inch reach. Caitlin Vieira, 14-3, 33, 5'8", with a 68-inch reach. Right now, odds on these two ladies, Kayla Harrison, minus 1,000 to minus 1,200. Caitlin Vieira, plus 750 to plus 600. Guys, before Key gives us a wonderful breakdown, leave a like and a subscribe. We love you guys. Love us back. That's all we ask.
Like the video,
Key,
we're going to find you.
Yeah, exactly. Key, I'm not even going to ask you what side. I'm going to ask you how she does it. KO is plus, what I say? KO was plus 250. Sub was plus 380. How does Kayla Harrison get this done?
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure here, because I think that Ketlin is better than what the market is telling us right now, and honestly, I can't blame anybody who wants to take Ketlin shots, because at altitude, Kayla Harrison, with the pace that she tries to put on people, and I'm not saying that Ketlin is Larissa Pacheco, because she's not, but Ketlin's physical. Like that is a big difference compared to some of these other girls that Kayla's just ragdolling, is that Caitlin can halfway match the physicality. And I'm not saying the judo black belt stuff, I think that's a little bit overblown because there's levels in every sport, and Kayla is an Olympic champ and Vieira just has a black belt to show mom and dad at home. So there is levels on the judo side, but having a judo background does lend some sort of help here. I think that at minus 1,200, I think that if you are big on Kayla Harrison, I'm not completely sold yet, and I've been watching her since early on in the PFL days. I'm not super sold on her justifying this price tag because I don't think that she's going to get the sub. And Ketlin isn't somebody that I think just quits and just gets pounded out, on the mat. So it's just one of those things where I'm not sure. I don't think that she justifies this price tag, but at the same time, I do think that she does win at a super high clip. If you're high on Kayla, I think you play does not go the distance. That's at plus 100. Her ITD is at plus 105. Don't chance it. Injuries happen. So I think that to not go the distance at plus 100 is decent. But this is just a weird, honestly, if there's any way to build Kayla, I don't know why they went with this fight. One, they could have went ahead and shot her up to the title because Pena doesn't deserve to be there. But I realized they made a promise to Pena probably. And so that's cool. But there's plenty of other matchups that they could have given her that could have been a showcase spot to get her to the title, which is obviously what they're trying to do. So this just doesn't make good sense. I think that this could end up being boring where you see a lot of clinch control, a lot of knees, and it ends up being a 30-27. So this is a pass for me, honestly, just because I can't map out any way. Like Holly Holm, I knew, and I played her 2 units on the Better app because I knew that the physicality difference in ground game was just insane levels. But Vieira isn't great off of her back, but she's not a fish. So this will be interesting to see. Also interesting to see the game plan of Ketlin. Because the Holly Holm game plan, whatever the hell she was smoking before going in, initiating the clinch was just like instant death. So this will be interesting to see. I don't think that she justifies minus 1,200, but Kayla's going to fight for the title next.
Yeah. Also, I was going to ask, like, from what I watched, I mean, Caitlin's get-up game is not great, right? So is it one takedown, the round's over, do you think?
I could see that potentially, but Kayla is going to open up on ground and pound, most likely. Mm-hmm. She consistently has talked about these elbows and ground and pound. Whenever you're opening up that much for ground and pound, you are giving space up, and it's not like you just have her on complete lockdown. So there's going to be opportunities for Caitlin to get up. If she takes them, that's on her. So, and at altitude, I will say Kayla has to kill herself to get down to 136, has to absolutely kill herself. And she's talked about it multiple times that her last time at UFC 300 was the first time in like over a decade, I believe, that she got down to that weight. So I think that it is literally insane for her to get down to this weight. So at altitude, round 3 could get a little dicey. And that's the reason why I would not be parlaying her at minus 800 and up. I think that's kind of crazy because she has some questions to answer about her gas tank at this weight class.
Jewish, what's your angle on this? You got a long shot here?
No, I think we see Osoto Gari. I think we see Uchi Mata. I think we see a Haragoshi, and then she ippons this bitch because there's levels at the end of the day. And the thing with the judo is, you don't have to pass the guard. You don't have to throw shots. My man, exactly. And then once she gets her to the ground, she's already going to be inside control. She doesn't need her arms because she's going to be able to float position. I think she eventually cooks her, gets to either the back or the mount. And I think those elbows do come into effect, Key. I think they do. I think they show why PFL is a B league compared to the UFC. I think she finally gets her chance here in this spot because you just can't. It's going to be hard to buck her off at the end of the day once she actually passes Ketlin's guard. Do I think Ketlin's got a decent guard? Like, she could survive if, it's not a giant toss. It's a double leg for Kayla Harrison. Yeah, I do, actually, because she does have at least some semblance of a ground game. So there is a world where Kayla does tie her out. Definitely can't play the money line, but I think that TKO prop in a women's MMA fight sitting so low is for a reason. I think she unloads with the elbows here, my guy. And whether it's a doctor stoppage, like we just saw it in the last fight, if you're using ground and pound, you could hit him with those Eileen Perez shots, right? Or you could just hit him with the elbows, and the elbows are going to do the damage. They're going to shut the eyes. They're going to open the cuts that force the doctor to then come in there and maybe take a look. I'm not saying that's going to happen here. That's like 100%, but people got to learn from that last fight, right? When we're looking at ground and pound, we want to do as much damage in as minimal time possible before the person bucks, and we got to recontrol position, right? So I think in this case, the frames and the elbows are the best way to do it. She's obviously been working it. She's obviously been itching to show it. And does she get the decision here? The sub, I'm not Nostradamus. I'm going to call the KO, though.
All right. I like it. Drav, what do you got?
Yeah, not much for me here. I do think Harrison win. Think the price a little bit nuts, like he said, especially at high elevation with a massive weight cut that she had. I think round 3 she could slow down and potentially lose the third round, but then she's gonna have dominant position in round 1 and 2, potentially gets easy takedown. I think worst case, like she win 29-28. I'm just not sure if she finished or not, so the fight's very tricky for me. Fight doesn't go, if fight goes, almost a pick 'em. So I don't feel like I have any like edge over the books here. If like fight goes was plus money or something, I think it could potentially be like a interesting play, or maybe even the over 2.5 at plus money. I was thinking that they would overprice the under because of Harrison's performance, but they didn't. So props to the bookies there. I think they're kind of on point with the prices. But if I had to play anything, I lean to the Harrison KO side. Even if she gets on top, like she has the ground and pound, and we've seen Vieira get cracked and put down on the feet as well. So if she's worried about the takedowns, could open up the striking too. So I do think she's the better striker, but her chin has been suspect in the past. Not to say like she's only got finished once. It was against the left hook, I know, but that's a girl that has been finished before. So I think Harrison, like if she cover her price tag, she's gonna finish her. And I think it's going to be by KO, but I'm not too confident about it, so I'm just going to leave it alone.
All right. Yeah, actually, I was looking at under 2.5 plus 130. If you like the finish and you don't know how to play it, I mean, I don't hate that. Under 2.5 plus 130 gives you both girls, covers injury, covers pretty much everything. I don't hate that, but I don't know. I don't really see this going the distance, but that's not really too sharp of me to say. It's pretty square, honestly. Let's go into the next fight here. Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. Jose Aldo, the legend of the sport, 32-8. He's 38, 5'7", 70-inch reach. Mario Bautista is 14-2, 31, 5'9", 69-inch reach. Odds in these two gentlemen, plus 125 to plus 115 for Jose Aldo, minus 140 to minus 135 for Mario Bautista. I mean, I think I'll have let's have you go first. How do you think this fight goes? Do you think Mario defeats the legend or Aldo wins again?
I do lean to the Bautista side here. I know Aldo is the dog of the week for everybody. Everybody's on him, everybody's on the dog. But the market's saying nope. The line, when the line go back up. So I think it does say something. when everybody's on the same dog, every guy's on MMA Twitter's on him, but somehow the line is not even at a pick him yet. So I just think that, although he could win this fight, don't get me wrong, I think it's probably going to be close. It's probably going to go the distance. But I'm pretty confident about a couple of things here. I'm very confident that Bautista has the better cardio of the two at this point in their career. Bautista is the guy in his prime, although obviously still looking good, but he's on the decline. He's 38 now. The guy, he's cutting down to 135, which I think people kind of forgot. The guy always look bad on the scales. He make weight. He's a professional, obviously, but he needs to kind of kill himself to make 135 at this point in his career. And him at high altitude and Utah, when's the last time he fought there? Oh, it was against Merab. How did he look in round 3? He looked tired as fuck, and he got cracked on the feet against Merab in round 3. Body language looked terrible. Are you looking at me like he was not tired? Because he was tired as fuck in round 3 in that fight, bro.
He defended 6 takedowns and died. Well, that's crazy. That is crazy.
He definitely slowed down, Dravey.
He slowed down, but gassing out.
He was not tired, bro. That's crazy.
I think gassing out.
I don't think that he was tired.
If he was tired, Rob would have got him down.
All right. So what I did is I look at his past fights when he was at 145, and I compare it to this fight at 135. And when you look the fight against Holloway, against all these guys, he's the type of guy that can get broken in round 3 and round 4, right? But I think that at 135 with the weight cut, he looked worse in the Merab fight in round 3 that he used to look at 145. He was not like he didn't have a cardiac arrest. That's not what I meant to say. But I think the body language didn't look good. His defense was not on point. The ends were down, and Merab clipped him with like 2-3 big right hand in the 3rd round. He did a phenomenal job at defending the takedowns. Obviously, that he's one of the best takedown defense guy in the entire division, entire sport. So props to him for that. I don't give much grappling upside to Bautista because of that. But Bautista is the guy like Merab that's going to push a crazy pace, that has crazy cardio. So yes, I think that Aldo's going to slow down in round 3. Not saying that he's going to get finished in round 3, but I think he's going to slow down. And Bautista is the guy that build into fights, that uses cardio as a weapon like Merab does. So I think that he's going to win the 3rd round in this fight at a pretty high clip. And he has good volume. Look at the fight against Ricky Simon. I think he landed like 60 strike in round 3. So I think the guy cardio is very good. I think his striking has come a long way. The guy obviously is on the way to the top. I'm very high on him. I bet him against Ricky Simon. He was the underdog. So to see him the next fight being the favorite, it's not my kind of business. I feel like people miss the train. They missed the train on the Ricky Simon fight when he was not when he was the underdog, and now he's minus 150. I feel like the line should be a little bit closer. So I do understand the shot on Aldo, right? But I'm just thinking that you have a guy in Bautista who I do think has the better cardio, who I think is going to lend more volume. And if anyone has grappling or wrestling upside, that's going to be him. I'm not confident he's going to land in takedowns, but if anyone tried to, it's going to be him, right? And we've seen against Merab, right? What happened in that fight? Aldo defended almost all the takedowns, but he didn't let his hands go on the feet because of the takedowns. He was worried about the takedowns. So Bautista being at MMA Lab, I think pretty smart camp. I think even if he's not successful with the takedowns, Aldo's going to need to be careful because he's going to need to defend the takedowns, and that's going to make him think. And when that happens, he's going to he's going to be low volume on the feet. So I think Bautista's going to lend more volumes. I think he has potential grappling upside. I think he has better cardio. He's the much younger guy. Career trajectory is a big thing in MMA. You have a guy that been there, done that, being the champ. He done everything in this sport, right? And you have another guy who wants to be there. He has everything to prove, and that he has everything to gain from this fight. What does it gain for Jose Aldo to win this fight? Not much, in my opinion. So I do think that Bautista is going to win this fight, but I think it's going to go the distance. I think it's going to be very competitive. I think Aldo is going to look good early. Bautista can get caught in the pocket sometimes. Aldo boxing looked very good last time out. So I don't think the guy is washed or anything. I'm just thinking that he's slowed down. And I don't think him with the big weight cut at elevation, I don't think it's going to look good in round 3. So again, the type of fight where I do think he's going to potentially win round 1, but I think he's going to lose round 3. So I think Peg, you got like plus 140 or something. So I don't really mind that at the price, but at like plus 150 and plus 120, I wouldn't bet him. But like plus 140, plus 150, I think it's a decent bet. But I really see the fight playing out the distance, being a 29-28 decision. Aldo landing the cleaner shot in the pocket with the boxing, but Bautista doing a little bit more with the volume. So I'm going to pick Bautista to win this, but I'm not very confident on the side personally. What I did do is I did parlay the over 2.5 when it was minus 260. Now it is minus 300. I think it's still decent. I would still like that better over a side. I think the fight go the distance at a pretty high clip. And Martinez fight, I think it's different than this one. Martinez, I'm sure she's going to talk about it.
That's all kicks.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've been high on Martinez. I back him in multiple fights when he was a big underdog. I didn't bet him against Aldo for sure, but he's a kicker. He's a guy that's trying to stay at distance, trying to look good, But Bautista's not going to do that. He's going to push a pace on Aldo, and that's what you want. Martinez is not going to do that. So I think that his pace, pressure, volume can cause problems to Aldo and can wear him out as the fight goes on. And just the fact that everybody's on him just make me a little bit more hesitant again on him to win the fight. So I wouldn't be worried if you want to bet him, legend of the sport, everything, but at the end of the day, the guy is 38, needs to kill himself to make 135, fighting at elevation. So I think his time's coming eventually. And I think Bautista's going to win a decision, but very competitive fight. And Peg probably going to say robbery after it.
Yeah, so listen, I don't think I'll even have to do that because I think Aldo will do all the talking for me. These 135ers don't understand. When they get Aldo at 135, Aldo's a big dude, and he hits really hard at 135. A lot of people don't get that. And we're talking about a guy who got flatlined by Trevin Jones. Guess what? That would never be Aldo. That wouldn't be a lot of people. I get it. Mario Bautista is a new shiny thing on the market. He just got his new contract. He's out of MMA labs. He's Sugar Sean's training partner. Listen, he's good. He's going to have his time. He's still a young man, though. We're going to let's just take a little dive in his resume. Win over Ricky Simone, aging poorly. Ricky looked like shit last fight. He's probably on his way out. Blackshear, great win. Guido Canetti, couldn't kick my ass. Benito Lopez, no. Brian Kelleher, old as dirt, went to a decision with Jay Perrin. Couldn't even break him. Guy can't even break ice. Trevin Jones, flatline. Miles Johns, decent win. 30 strikes thrown total. This is the guy who's going to step in here and smoke Aldo? No, I don't think so. Aldo's coming off. Everyone's talking about, he's got to cut weight. He's going to be tired at altitude. Really? Marab the Machine pushed the pace on him. He was fine over the course of 15 minutes. I think here in a fight where, I don't think Mario's going to get a takedown. Who is he? Maybe he gets one, but I doubt it. This guy, Chad Mendez, couldn't get him down. Marab couldn't get him down. Mario's going to come and do it? Give me a break. What, are you going to stand in boxing range with Aldo? Good luck. He's either going to get knocked down at some point in this fight or he's going to get cooked in round 1. I think round 2 will probably be a little bit closer. I'll still lean Aldo. Round 3, maybe Mario Bautista gets back to his corner and they're like, dude, you got to turn it up. You got to do something. You're losing this fight. Then he's going to go in and you know what? He may go put it on Aldo or he might get caught. But I just don't think everyone's writing Aldo off. Sure, sometimes you got to
Bro, well, wait a minute, Peg. Who is writing Aldo off when everybody's on him? Explain me this.
You got to tune that. That's the thing too. You got to tune that noise. You got to tune that noise out of Twitter. I don't worry about everyone on MMA Twitter's on him. Who cares, bro? Guess who doesn't care? The bookmakers, because 80% of the people on MMA Twitter aren't moving the lines. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and what the bookmakers are saying, they're saying Bautista's minus 150. So you're just shooting yourself in the foot with what you just said.
They're giving, dude. He's minus 130 now, and we've watched Aldo come all the way down. You got to remember,
he's
Aldo
minus 130, bro. He's like minus 150 across all books.
Yeah, he's minus 145 to minus 150.
Where 1 sec. Oh yeah, now he's minus 145. I mean, dude, earlier today he was all the way down to what? Minus what? He was minus 140 before. But I'm not even watching Batista's line. I was watching Aldo's line. Earlier today, Aldo was what? Minus 115. So money's coming in on Aldo. There's a strong resistance, which tells you this is probably where the line's probably going to lie for the fight. This is the worst price you're going to get on Aldo. I played plus 130. I think taking a plus 130 shot for a unit on Aldo, easy money. If Bautista wins, good job. I mean, guess what? You beat a champion, you're building your name up, and now we are talking about one of the next guys. I just think right now in this fight, if you're going to give Aldo round 1, you're going to give Bautista round 3, and you got to see who's going to win round 2. I think it's going to be Aldo here. And, I mean, unless Bautista puts a full pace on him, that's a little crazy to me. I don't know. I think you give Aldo 2 rounds. You got to remember, it's not like you're playing a guy who's going to win round 1, win round 2, and then lose round 3. You're getting him at plus odds. You're not playing him at minus 140. You're getting plus odds on him. Finishing upside, I don't really give Bautista any finishing upside. If anyone's going to have a finishing upside, it's going to be Aldo, because Bautista sucks in the pocket. He gets rocked. He gets dropped. Like, dude, you're talking about Aldo who's coming down in weight to fight him. And when people feel the touch of Aldo from 145 and 135, it's a different story. So, listen, I'm on the side of MMA Twitter. We get burned together. But I usually try and tune that noise out. I like like I said, plus 130 on Aldo, I'm happy with. Plus 115, not so easy. But, plus 125 range, I'd still play it, no problem. I just don't, anywhere under plus 120, I probably wouldn't touch it. But I think Aldo's side here as a dog. I have no problem playing it. Aldo decision, I also agree with you. I love fight goes the distance. I love the over. It's just you got to remember, bro, Aldo was, when he wasn't in the MMA that he'd taken time off, he was in there boxing and like doing stuff like that. And this is going to be a boxing match, and you don't want to box against Aldo. No one does. So I don't know. I'm gonna stick with Aldo here. I'll ride with my dog. If I go down with him, I'll happily go down with Aldo. Yeah, what are you thinking, JB?
I just said before we give it to JB, Bautista is not gonna box just with him. What I've noticed on tape is the clinch work that he does, the elbows in the clinch and everything. I'm sure you guys are gonna talk about it, but I was looking into like the striking aspect, but he's gonna kick, he's gonna go to the body, he's gonna elbows in the clinch. Of course, if you're just trying to box with him, he's gonna lose the fight. But it will be pretty dumb to not trying to mix the takedown, to not trying to wear with the elbows in the clinch and stuff like that. So yeah, but I'm not saying I'm betting Bautista minus 150. I think the line should be a little bit closer than that. But I think GB has a big take on the Bautista side. So go ahead, brother. What you got?
Break it down, bro. I saw your tweet too. Let's hear it. I was waiting for this moment.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't even have to film this fight. Just like my man Trevi said, I didn't seen this line before. I didn't seen this story before. And I had $7,000 on my dude Merab Dvalishvili against Jose Aldo because everybody and their mother was on Jose Aldo. I read the market. I knew Merab was a problem. And Jose Aldo at this weight class, it's how much time can it last? He's 38 years old. He's coming off his biggest performance. So now the line that's being baked into the line, right? And everybody's hyped up about it. You missed the train on the last one. Mario Bautista is a good fighter. I think he does have the boxing, but I think he mixes it up better. I think he uses his takedowns. This is the game of mixed martial arts, people. And I wouldn't even be surprised if he if Jose Aldo has a bad weight cut, Jose Aldo stays in the pocket too long. Bautista does have some crack behind his punches. He does have that flying knee up the middle. Honestly, you said fight goes the distance. I could see either guy clipping each other here. I think this is going to be a mainly a kickboxing fight at bantamweight, where both guys, bantamweight, we see knockouts before. Both guys are athletic. Jose Aldo, the age is going up, my man, but I don't even have to look at it, man. 80-something. How much? Well, let's look at the Tapology votes, my man. Let's just look at them real quick. I know you say you got to tune out the noise, but 80% of Tapology votes on Jose Aldo, but the line is going the other way. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. It doesn't. Look at the splits. I know we can't trust them all the time, but just look at the market in general. Everybody and their mother is on Jose Aldo this week. I done seen this time and time again. I don't even got to watch the film. I could ignore the film on this one because the market is telling me what I need to know. And it is telling me that my dude Mario Bautista is the side here. He's out of a great camp with great supplements. He's on a win streak. Say what you want about the level of competition, but he's getting him out of there the way he should. Then he looks good against Damon Blackshear, who's a legitimate fighter, who's not 38 years old, not cutting down to this weight class. The line movement tells me everything I got to tell, my dude. So Obviously, you see some resistance, quote unquote, on the Aldo side. I think that's just suckers. They're giving you a better line on a worse line on Aldo. Hey, yeah, take him at -110, and somebody's gonna do it because they don't think he should be the dog. I heard time and time again, how is Jose Aldo the dog? This is the easiest bet. Oh, this is the lock of the century. And I get it. I get what you're saying. You got to tune out the noise sometimes, but sometimes you just got to make the right decision, pay attention to the market. And that's what it's telling me. I could avoid the X's and O's here. I could avoid all of this because it's getting bet down to a -175. Man,
No, now it's -135, -144. That's what I'm saying.
And now they're going to give you a worse line on Aldo, and there's going to be idiots out there that still take it. Yeah, you get him at +150. Maybe it's a good bet. I think the guy's a good boxer. I think he's got, he showed his best performance out the last time, but that's going to be baked into the line. Go back before that. Who are the boxers that he actually fought? Who are the, you got Rob Font. Yeah, Rob Font, people don't remember. He dropped him in that fight, but Rob Font outstruck him on the numbers. He was doing better than him in the striking there, and Rob Font's been chinned in the past few years. That's what Rob Font is known for. He gets hits by the power shots. Merab Dvalishvili, yeah, he wasn't able to take him down. I think Jose Aldo's got good takedown defense, but Merab pushed a straight cage wrestling style. I don't think he has the cage wrestling that Mario Batista. I think Mario Batista got tricks that he could actually get him to the ground. Because in MMA, takedowns, we've seen it with George St. Pierre. It's about timing. When you get somebody caught up in the hands, caught up in that battle, and they forget that the wrestling is there, and they're 38 years old, Mario Batista shoots under that. I think he could take the back of Jose Aldo. We've even seen Aldo try and mix in the grappling when it's not going his way on the feet, right? Against Chito Vera in the third round. And it went successful for him there. But against a guy who's got the submission threat like Mario Batista, who's as well-rounded, maybe he reverses that position and maybe he gets on top. And I don't know if Aldo, at this age is going to be as urgent to get. Have we seen him really settled on the back? And when he does, I don't think he gets up that quickly. I don't think, Batista is going to give him a free path to the feet either. I think he's got to worry about the backpacks as well. Man, give me this Batista line, man, just purely based off the fact that everybody and their mothers on Jose Aldo, something's got to give, bro. Something's got to give.
So I guess my question here when we talk about reading this line, right? If he went from -175 to -130 within the past week, you telling the public is buying Aldo in all the way here?
Absolutely,
I don't know,
bro. They everybody and their mother is shocked that he's an underdog. You can give him +110 and they're gonna take it. He should be a favorite in their mind, but that's just not the case because the market is telling you that Mario Batista is a favorite. Anytime it gets to the point where it's -130, there's a buyback on it. So the public's wrong that Jose Aldo shouldn't be a dog, in my opinion, because the market is telling me that he's not.
Let me see. 1 second. I got something for you here. Let's take a look at this. This is only based off DraftKings too. Okay. Second.
DraftKings can say whatever they want. I'm going off of based off of what I hear.
So this is VSiNs, right?
Okay, sure.
This is Aldo.
17% of the money on. So 83% of the money's on Jose Aldo. But the line's going the other way. If that's true, then that even makes my point even more.
So yeah, so 28% of the bets are on 28% of the bets and 17% of the money is on Bautista.
But the line's going the other way.
This is so the public money is on Aldo, obviously, with 72% here.
Sure.
I don't know, man. I think this is going to be, like we said, this is going to be Twitter's fight of the week. That's what we talked about, right? So it's going to be an interesting one. Key, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so I got history with both guys pretty well here. I played Aldo at like +115 last time out against Martinez. He still showed all the pop and all the speed in his boxing fights. People thought that Martinez was God's greatest gift after he could leg kick and found out Yanez couldn't check a leg kick. And I played Martinez at like plus 130 in that Yanez fight. And so I knew that Aldo's going to be able to check leg kicks. Aldo in boxing range, there's very few people on earth in this weight class that can stand with Aldo in boxing range. The thing that's sort of turning me off here is Aldo is just like, I think that he could have knocked out Martinez in that fight. I think that he carried him a little bit, which I didn't like, honestly, because I think that you got to go ahead and just get him up out of there. So the lack of finishing, even though it seems like he could have gotten him out of there. And then the Merab fight even, if people remember, Aldo was putting his hand over his mouth, acting like it was boring, playing to the crowd. That's the reason why I don't think that he was super tired. I just think that he showed a lack of urgency and bad fight IQ personally. Because, I mean, it just seemed like he was content with just standing up against the cage. I think that he's going to show more urgency to get off the cage. But if you recently shown me that you're willing to hang out on the cage, and I think that Bautista has clinch control upside here, I'm not super inclined to be betting you here. Bautista, I don't think is elite, to be honest. I think that he's gotten some elite matchmaking. I mean, let's take a look at this run. Jay Perrin, Brian Kelleher, Benito Lopez, Guido Canetti. And then we finally get up to Damon Blackshear, who people argued that Blackshear won that fight. And then Ricky Simon was a great performance. And Ricky Simon hasn't been on too great of a run recently, but I will still give him credit that that was a great performance. Yeah, exactly, Dan. And so that's not me making an argument for Aldo. That's just me saying that I don't think that Bautista is going to justify a wide favorite at all. I think that this is going to look like a close fight. Whoever wins, I'm sure whichever side wins this war is going to act like it was never a doubt and everybody should have known this. But youth seems to prevail. Youth seems to prevail consistently in this sport, especially at these lower weight classes. Aldo is not superhuman, that we know of at least. And so it's hard for me to justify getting down at these prices. If it was a little wider, plus 150, plus 175, like I can understand more. But I think that this plays out like a 29-28 type of fight. I think that Aldo does have more upside in terms of the big moments of finishing, but it's unknown if he's going to really push for that. And Bautista, I know, is going to have a good game plan. John Crouch in the corner, MMA Lab, always has great game plans. I assume that there's going to be a lot of body work. I assume there's going to be a lot of clinching. They have to make this ugly because technically I don't think that you can just stand with Aldo and try to go technique for technique. I mean, he's just that elite. I'm old enough to remember the WEC days I used to watch with my dad on the TV. So Aldo's forever a legend. In my mind,
bro.
I remember lighting up Uriah Faber's leg. I mean, like that was some of my introduction into MMA as a young kid. So Aldo is forever a legend in my mind, and I understand why people love him and want to bet him here. I just don't think that this is the spot. I'm glad that I got in on the train versus Martinez, but here I'm willing to pass and just see what happens in this fight.
Yeah, WEC, never forget. That is the real ones know. The real ones know.
I don't know, man. Something in my gut tells me that if this gets to decision, it's a 0%er here, bro. I don't know.
The over. I like the over. Dog says the over sketch to him. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I think both of them do have some sort of finishing upside. If you want to say Bautista cooks him in one side or Aldo chins him on the other, but I don't know. I like the over too. I like goes the distance here. Let's move on though. Let's get to our co-main event. I mean, it's an embarrassing one, but Key loves it. It's going to be Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena. Raquel Pennington, 16-8, 36, 5'7", 67-inch reach. Juliana Pena, 35, 5'6", 69-inch reach. Line on these two ladies, you can get Pennington anywhere from minus 160 to minus 170. Pena anywhere from plus 140 to plus 147. Key, do your thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the hell all this women's MMA slander is coming from this episode. I mean, I just don't. This is the moments that we live for. Rocky Pennington on pay-per-view co-main event title fight. Like, this is what you live for. This is what you were put on this earth to watch. I mean, this is, in my opinion, this is a clear spot in my, Pena is on one of the most fraudulent runs through this sport that I have seen in a long time. I mean, we're talking about her last wins before the fluke win against Nunes was Nico Montano, Sarah McMahon, Kat Zingano in 2016. Those are her last 3 wins before the Nunes fluke. And then Nunes absolutely gave her a generational ass whooping in that second fight. I cashed huge. One of my first major bets in MMA. Nunes
I
just
bet
put
Pena on that first Nunes fight too, which is crazy.
Yeah, respect.
$50 on it. Just say fuck it, and it actually hit.
But Nunes was obviously hurt, and she showed that in the second fight that was a big time fluke. I don't think that Pena has the skills. Honestly, she has all. I won't say all, but she has really big time heart. She's tough. Her cardio is decent, but I think that she's sloppy on the feet. I mean, it's arm punches only, and it's a shame that she's at Valley Flow striking. And I don't know if anybody peeped on Embedded, but we saw the GOAT being her main training partner, Montserrat Rendon, a legend in the UFC, being her main training partner for this fight. It seems if that's what you're working with, I'm not confident that you're getting good work in. She said that she doesn't think the altitude is going to play a part at all in this fight, and she's cool with not adjusting and coming early over to Utah to get adjusted. While Rocky's at elevation in Colorado, consistently training, I think that over the years, we've seen her confidence grow in the cage, and I don't fear Pena's BJJ, and I think that that's the only thing that she brings to the table in this fight, honestly. Rocky handled herself really well. Do I think that she showed a little bit of bad IQ in some spots versus MBS, hanging around in some of those grappling exchanges, but she handled herself really well, handled all the sub attempts, had a couple sub attempts of her own in that fight, and I wouldn't be surprised if Rocky found a finish in this fight, if we're being completely real. And I know Jewish is probably loving to hear that right now, looking at some of these late round sub props. But this is a spot where I can realistically see it. Rocky's hands in boxing range, dirty boxing. I think that Rocky has the power and the chin to stay in range and bang with Pena. And I think that Pena is going to be surprised at some of the pop that Pennington does have. I really don't see a path that Pena consistently now, could she pull an arm bar out of her ass? Cool, yeah. But I don't see at a consistent clip that she truly wins this fight, because Pennington is just better everywhere, in my opinion. I think that she has top time upside on the feet. I think that she's definitely the better boxer. And in the clinch, she's strong enough to hang. She's physical enough. She can sit in guard. At range, it's not like Pena's going to be able to jab and leg kick. I mean, she has no technique to be able to do that for 25 minutes. I mean, this is honestly laughable that Pena is a UFC champion, is actually going to go down in history, sadly, because she is not this type of level fighter, in my opinion. And I don't have enough bad things to say about Pena. Like, if you can't tell, I do not think the world of her at all. I think that Rocky is the only Rocky in the sport. Tell Leon Edwards to drop that name after Bilal gave him a generational ass whooping too. Plus 220, Bilal's backer stand up. So I think that there's a Rocky spot. Rocky, I think minus 140 is what we got in the Discord and Dub Club for my guys. I think that she's playable to damn near minus 200 here. I know that it feels ugly and nasty, because who wants to bet Rocky in a championship fight at favorite money? But put the bias aside for women's MMA and realize the matchup at hand here. And there's levels. Pena's coming off of a 2-year layoff full of injuries. I think that Rocky's going to cook her here. So at altitude too. So give me Rocky. I think that the Penningtons are going to have a nice night to celebrate on both sides.
Yeah, I'll be quick. Pennington money line. What do you got, JB?
Yeah, so if you guys want to make some motherfucking money tomorrow at the casino, when you go to the sports book, you are going to go on this fight. And I said it earlier, these women's fights, they end by sub. This is my most confident one, too. I remember back in the day, the early days of bet and hanging out with the homies, and my boy, he's like, got a bonus bet, so he wants to put it in. It's like $400. So he goes and it's Germaine de Randamie versus Juliana Pena. And he wants Germaine de Randamie, but then he's about to bet it. And he goes, the double chance, right? I'm telling you, I think it might have been the same line, but he's like, there's no way that Germaine de Randamie subs Juliana Pena. She's a jiu-jitsu girl. I'm like, bro, but the line is like the same. And he was like, nah, no way, bro. So then sure enough, we watched the fight. She wraps up the neck. And you said earlier, that she has decent cardio. I think she pushes, but I think she's got kind of bad cardio, and I think she's at a cardio disadvantage here against Raquel Pennington. So what happens when you're not that good on the feet, you're tired. She took a big ass whipping in the last fight. We talked about it earlier. When you're away from your job for 2 years, this is muscle memory. This is something you want to be. You don't want to be too active like Volkanovski or Adesanya, where the overactivity affects you. We also don't want to have a 2-year layoff. Like, that's going to be a problem in the ring at altitude versus a girl who trains at altitude, who I just think is overall better, has more process to her game. Yeah, sometimes process doesn't matter in WMMA, right? So maybe the grinding of Juliana Pena could win her some rounds here if this fight does go to decision. But I think everybody be thinking WMMA over. I think Rocky could wrap up the sub. We saw it on Macy Chiasson where she wrapped up that 5-finger. She put Macy Chiasson in a bad spot, and she was forced to tap. I could see her even getting that, the way Jermaine Durand and me slept her, and then my homie was just sitting there in absolute shock. It was the funniest thing in the world. I was like, man, I tried to tell you so, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But, yeah, Jermaine Durand and me could submit you. She's a kickboxer, brother. Raquel Pennington at altitude could absolutely submit you. The book's putting at plus 500, I think, for that reason. I would want a little bit better. So I think the way you spruce that up, I don't think this is just like, oh, she's so much better at grappling than her that she's going to get the sub. I think this is as she starts to fade late and this fight gets into rounds 3, 4, 5, she's going to be desperate. She's going to be putting her neck into these bad spots like we've seen before. 2-year layoff. I think Rocky Pennington, baby. She's going to get the sub, and I think she's the money line spot here. I absolutely hate Juliana Pena too, key 3. Her voice just fucking annoys me. So to see her get finished, I would absolutely love it. But yeah, I think Rocky Pennington could even be closer to like a minus 200 here. Minus
a lot prettier when she doesn't talk,
Hell yeah, dog. Give me Rocky here. Adrian. She goes to sleep.
Yep, and like this guy said, it sounds like Pena said she did no prep for elevation. She just came in shape, so that'll pay off well. That'll be scenes. Drav, what do you got for us quickly, and then we'll move to the main event.
Yeah, I think the boys did a good job breaking down the fight. I don't see a finish personally. I think it's gonna go the distance, and yeah, I think Pennington's like she's the champ now. She has the momentum, Pena coming back after a layoff and everything. Yeah, Rocky's the better striker. I think. Maybe some sketchy grappling position, but I think it will go all 25 minutes, and Pennington's going to keep the belt and win the decision here.
All right, so let's go. Before we go to the main event, like, subscribe, comment, leave comments on the video. We love you guys. Show us some love too. Main event, it pretty much goes, I don't even have to do an intro. We got Poatan versus Khalil Rountree. We know who they are. Pereira, hometown boy for me because he's home in Bethel, Connecticut, not in Brazil. I'm not from the Amazon, obviously. Khalil Rountree, does he deserve this title shot? I don't know. I think a lot of people would agree with me on that one. Line on this one, Pereira minus 460 to minus 500. Rountree plus 360 to plus 400. Trav, I'll let you start first. Does Khalil find that one shot and finish Poatan and become the champion of the world? Then we'll have Bilal and Khalil Rountree champions at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think so, to be honest. But at the same time, it's like Rountree at the end of the day is still dangerous. He still hits hard, and I still think that Pereira chin is not the best. The guy can get cracked, and I know we've not seen before recently. Been looking good, doing his thing, but the guy is normally like a minus 110 to minus 160 guy, and now he's minus 450. Because yeah, you should knock him out. You should finish this guy, and they shouldn't be fighting each other. But yes, some things about Pereira at this price make me a little bit iffy. It's a dual fight. There's some more variance now when big boy trying to swing and knock each other out. And Rountree does it hard, so yeah, I think he does have a chance, but I don't think he's on the same level as Pereira. Pereira should add his way, and you should finish him. There is a world where he gets a guillotine here, but I don't think it's very likely. Obviously, like he had the guillotine against Blachowicz and against Prohaska in the clinch, and then they're both better grapplers than Rountree. Rountree doesn't really know how to defend the choke, so. If Pereira trying to lock in the same guillotine in the clinch, I don't really know what Rountree is going to do, but obviously it should be a KO. But if you're trying to play Pereira KO, I think it's like minus 200. So I don't think there's any way to play this fight personally. Even the over or under, I don't like it either. So think Pereira finishing, but I don't see myself playing this fight anyway. But yeah, it should be a Pereira finish.
Pereira sub plus 2,000 for me. Only way to play it and make it fun. Key, what do you think?
Yeah, for my guys on DFS apps, I posted an underdog fantasy slip for 1.5 units with Pereira over fantasy points. Pretty much just has to get the finish, most likely to get that over. Yeah, I think this is a Pereira spot. I'm a Rountree guy. I bet Rountree in the Jacoby fight that people say is a robbery. I think the Jacoby won, but Rountree had an argument. I think that this is a crazy, crazy fight to book. I love that they actually booked it because without Khalil just asking for it on the mic after Anthony Smith finished, this fight probably doesn't even happen. So this is a great come-up story. Khalil's a guy that's been around for so long that everybody has seen flashes of that looks so violent at times and so exciting. So it's good to see that he finally put it all together and mentally is there and is ready for this level. But this is a crazy step up in competition. I mean, we're talking Modestas Bukauskas' first run in the UFC, Carl Roberson before he got arrested, Dustin Jacoby's on a terrible run. Chris Dawkins just lost to Fun and Chokwe, I think, and on the regional scene. And Anthony Smith is might as well be a full-time commentator. And now we move up to Poatan. Like, that's just that some things just don't make sense. And this is one of those things that doesn't make sense. But I will say, Poatan's getting closer and closer. And people think, and we treat him like he's Jesus Christ right now because he's been on this insane run. But he's slightly looking more and more like he's going to be a glass cannon one of these days. And eventually that he's not going to be able to take these shots. And I wouldn't be surprised if Rountree bonked him. I don't think that Rountree has the length, I don't think that he has the length to be able to get inside and get there without getting check hooked. But I will say him being southpaw definitely provides some different challenges here. But Poatan's seen it all on the feet. It's hard for me to believe that Rountree's just going to come in here and just run through him. And I think that you need the grappling threat in order to get striking off against Poatan. So this is a fight where I think the Poatan gets it done. A sub would add to the legend of Poatan, so I can't blame everybody that's taking the shot. I think there's a great shot. I won't personally, but it definitely adds to the legend. I wonder what's next if Ankalaev can move through Rakic, which is a bad matchup for him, low-key. So it'll be interesting to see, but Poatan gets it done here. I think there'll be a pretty bad knockout. And people got to remember, Rountree cardio is real sus. And we're at altitude here, and we're talking about a guy that once we're old enough to remember that this guy was losing to Marcin Praccio. And so let's get real here. So I think Poatan gets it done.
JB, close us out.
Yeah, so you guys are telling me every single favorite on this fight card is going to win? Every single favorite? I've done seen this story too many times.
I'm on like I said all the dogs almost.
All right, but yeah, but we're talking about everybody else. I mean, so St. Preux was one of them, right? That was in the beginning of the card. But I think like main card underdogs, you know, we got Kevin Holland, we got Kayla. I'm going with Mario. I know you're not. Pennington's going to win. I done seen this story before where, you know, you got the full card parlay, but your last leg is Kamaru Usman. It's Israel Adesanya. And they just find a way to bonk you out of there. And this is 205. Like, at the end of the day, Pereira's 38 years old. Khalil Rountree's got the more experience, so he's the younger fighter with the more experience. That checks a box off for me. I think this fight's likely to end by KO. He's got to worry about the leg kicks, which I think he could deal with. He's got to worry about the left hook, which scares me, especially with the way that Alex Poatan Pereira sets it up. But you're giving me a minus 455 in a striking matchup with 4-ounce gloves versus a guy who is quick. He's got the KO power. Most of his wins are by knockout. We didn't seen Pereira be bonked before by guys with less power. Obviously, that was at 185, but his chin got slept out cold. He was completely asleep. I think Khalil has some interesting things too. Can Pereira just pressure forward? No, I think he has things that he has to worry about there. Even if it's something as simple as a knee stomp. We've seen Khalil Rountree take this guy out. Obviously, the level of competition is way different. But when it comes down to it, the knee stomp is a move that could work on anybody. If he just takes out Alex Pereira's leg, you know, Alex Pereira, we've talked about, he's been very active as of lately. And sometimes being a company man, it doesn't pay off for you. And everybody at this point now, the market just thinks he's absolutely invincible, just like my man Key said. And I think, everybody's thinking this guy's only going to lose when wrestling comes into play. I don't necessarily agree. I think even, we've seen it. Dana White says it time and time again. He sells these holy shit moments. I think Khalil Rountree is probably closer to like a plus 200 because you're giving me a striking matchup where either guy is going to get bonked. Obviously, we've seen Khalil bonked before, but that was a super long time ago. I think he's obviously turned to edge in his career. And I think eventually Poatan's just going to face the Piper where the market's just over valuing him. So I think you bet against him in these next 3 fights, no matter how you do it, you're going to catch that money. And I don't think a lot of people are going to be on it on Khalil. I don't think they had the balls to put their money here against Alex Pereira, but 38 years old. He's came into MMA. He's done his thing. 2 of his wins are against Yuri, who to me has no defense. Khalil Rountree, he's going to keep that defense up. Can he be hit? Yeah, but does that mean he's absolutely going to get bonked? No, I don't think it's that true. And then the thing that Pereira's got to worry about is he leaves his chin open when he does go to unload. So if he thinks he hurts Khalil and goes to unload on him and leaves that chin up there, I think Khalil can respond. I think Khalil doesn't necessarily have to wrestle, but maybe he can get this fight to the clinch. We've seen the Muay Thai clinch. Just a couple of those knees in the clinch could slow down Pereira, add elevation. And I think, he could even catch kicks and throw counters. If he throws the kick and comes off, I think he should, really look to play the counter role here, have Alex Pereira come towards him. And I think that can make this a closer fight than people think it is going to be. I think you're going to get the parlay buster right here. And my man, Khalil Rountree Jr., he's going to shock the world, guys. Don't sleep on it.
And I want to add this little tip. Like he said with the southpaw, another thing that Khalil Rountree does well, he checks leg kicks. A lot of the guys that Alex has fought don't check leg kicks. This guy checks leg kicks, adds a little bit of spice to it.
He's won as a dog before. Last thing I'll say, he's won as an underdog before too. So the market's definitely slept on Khalil Rountree before, whereas now it's just getting out of hand with Alex Pereira. Like he was minus whatever. He was plus 125 against Sean Strickland. And now at 205 against Khalil Rountree, it's plus 350. I mean, plus 390 is the price I got it at. I think it's closer to like a plus 200. I think he's got more than a puncher's chance.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that's the show. We're going to do our Beat the Line broadcast real quick, our BTL Parlay real quick. My leg's going to be Joaquin Buckley, minus 214. What do you got, Key?
Raquel Pennington.
All right. JB, who do you got?
I got to go with my guy, Mario Bautista, my dude. Minus 140.
All right. And what do you got, Drav?
I'm gonna go and take. I'm sure Keith's gonna be proud of me. Raquel Pennington minus 160. So I'm gonna just give it.
He took Raquel already.
He took it. He took her. Oh, my bad. I said Raquel, but I said I meant Tisha Pennington.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
So yeah, I'm sure he's gonna be proud. So yeah, the parlay is Bautista. We're gonna go off Bet Online, right? So Bautista minus 144, Raquel Pennington minus 160, Tisha Pennington minus 175, and Buckley minus 220. The parlay is plus 529. Let's catch it on Bet Online right there, right now.
Let's cash it, boys. JB, welcome to the show, brother. Welcome to the most profitable podcast in the market right now. And here we go with the good BTL parlay. I got a good feeling about this one. So, all right, that's the show. I'm Picks by Pegasus. You can find me on Twitter. You can find my Telegram. It's always free. I put all my picks in there. Key and Drav, what do you guys got going on in your dub clubs?
Drav, you can go first.
Yeah, so this week, I mean, it's Prop City, big numbers on the dub club. People already locked in for that. So, yeah, I think we're going to catch some big money this week. I really like this pay-per-view. A lot of money to be made. So you can sign up to my dub club now. It's linked in my Twitter and my bio. If you want a promo code or anything, you can hit me up in DM, guys. Don't be shy. It's okay. And if you never subscribed to me before, I got a little something for you for your first month. And we're going to be back for Dana White Contender Series next card. And yeah, man, GB, you can say where the people can find you too. Thanks for being the guest. It was a fun pod, bro. So
my dude Dravi.
Promo codes are BTL.
Dravy, get the gravy. Let's go. I think it's Dravi, but I gotta say a Dravy for that line to work. Guys, we want to make generational wealth this weekend. You just go to the casino. Raquel Pennington, I'm telling you, 3, 4, 5 sub. She's gonna wrap up the guillotine choke, and then you go sign up for these guys' dub club. But my Twitter is at MMAlinemover. I'm sure most of the people follow me already, but if you don't, go ahead, go over there, and we'll chat it up and interact on there as well. So appreciate all you guys having me on. Key, my dude. Pegasus, my dude. Came with the swag today. Outmatched me.
All right, boys. Thanks for joining us.
Hold on. I gotta get my shit off. It's my turn to get in my bag. Shout out to JB for coming on the show. It's been a long time in the making for him to be on the show. Fun pod. Shout out to Peg for actually holding his end of the bargain again. The do-rag on. We're up 74 units in my Discord and Dub Club. Prize picks, underdog fantasy, book bets, DFS cores. We got all live bets in the Discord. A whole lot of plus EV shit going on. Whole lot of props going on this weekend. It's going to be a big time month. I was up over 16 units in September. We're going to keep rolling and finish out this year over 100 units. So lock in, promo code BTL, DM me. I'll hit you up with a nice little code and we'll get you in. Shout out to the guys and let's have a good week.
Yeah, to get the promo for these guys, you got to send them a screenshot of you being subscribed to the YouTube channel. That's your ticket in for the discount. That's how we'll do it. That's how we cut a promo. All right, guys, that's the show. Thanks for joining us. I'll upload. This is a long episode for us, 2 hours. We're going to be just shy of 2.5 hours. I'll put timestamps up right away for y'all. Thanks for joining us again. Peace.